All sports, all the time.
There's heroes and there's legends. Heroes get remembered. Legends never die.
This is the Spoken Podcast.
Hold your ears, folks. It's showtime.
I'm your host, Lance Twidwell.
Man, that kid, he can ball, man. He can ball.
Touchdown, Kansas City!
Patrick freaking Mahomes, baby!
Let's talk some sports, because that's what we're here to do.
You are tuned in to The Spoken.
Is the Spoken Podcast. I'm your host, Lance Twidwell, here inside the Spoken Studios with my guy, Trevor Twidwell.
That's good.
Episode 239. I'm sorry, 330. I skipped 100 episodes backwards, dude.
Been, bro?
Episode 339. I apologize. We're a little rusty here. We got to get back into the swing of things. And speaking of that, we are in full swing, full motion. Episode 339, full swing, full motion. We're so happy to be with you and for you to be here with us, whether you are live streaming, podcasting, or YouTube. We want to thank you so much for taking the time to be with us in this time. As we have a very loaded show for you guys tonight. We have some very, dare I say, uncomfortable conversations to be had when it comes to everything Chiefs related. We're going to have some uncomfortable conversations about a lot of things that are going on with this team, because as we know, this team has essentially, and in every way, shape, or form, not to sound too hyperbolic, hit rock bottom. And we're going to break all that down for you guys tonight. We hope that you guys are ready for a show that we have honestly never really expected to have at this point in time of the Chiefs dynasty, Mahomes era portion of this time in history for the Chiefs. So I hope you guys are ready, like I said, because we have, like I said, a lot to get to. Trevor, you and I have had a wild couple of weeks, but I don't want to take the shine from you, man, as far as your perspective on how things have been going for you. We're getting closer and closer to the Christmas time, Christmas week. Hope you guys have all got your presents and everything ready to go for everybody that you actually give a shit about. I have done that. Trevor did that a long time ago, so I try to take after him a little bit in that one and be a little bit ahead of the trend. But Trev, how the hell are you doing? How are things going for you, man?
Terrible. No, that's things are good, man, other than what we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah.
Most of this is going to be quite a downer. It is what it is. Other than that, man, life's good. Wintertime is here. It's getting colder, but it hasn't been too bad of a winter so far. But other than that, man, I'm good, bro. Ready to. I always love the holiday season. I enjoy this time. It's always fun with me and the kids. Got volleyball, got sports, got other things going on. Basketball, NBA basketball, is starting to get really in the thick of the mix. Things start, really starting to kick off. Is when I start getting into it, as far as like football season nearing its end, which it's a little more earlier this time around than
A lot more
as far as my interest in the rest of the NFL season. This is different vibes, but it is what it is, man. Ready to move on and take our lumps and figure things out. So, but other than that, man, I'm good, bro.
And that's what we're here. Trevor says it is a downer. I do agree with him, and but we're here also to give the solutions, and I think Trevor and I both have our own solutions. Maybe they're very similar. We don't know. We haven't really discussed this a lot. But that's what we're here to do, this in live time with you guys, so you guys can bring your solutions to the table as well. We don't want to just be fans that are sitting here just bitching about what's going on right now. We want to talk about solutions to get them back to their winning ways. And I have quite a few ideas, actually, that I think the Chiefs could consider. Trevor, I'm sure, will have his, and we'd love to hear from you. So if you would be so kind, go over on the YouTube side of thing, hit subscribe, like, notify, share, all the fun buttons they got over there. The one we want you to push the most tonight is the comment button. We want you to be a part of the show. We don't want you just to listen and sit back and watch. If that's your style, totally cool. No problem at all. We appreciate you regardless. But if you're somebody that has an opinion and you want your voice to be heard, you're at the right show tonight, man. And we really do appreciate you guys wanting to be a part of the show at all. But if you want to actually be a part of the show and interact with Trevor and I throughout the show or throughout the week on YouTube, we would very much appreciate that. We're trying to grow that side of things. It's been great growth over this last year, but we're nowhere near where we want to be, and it would be we absolutely have to have your guys' help in order to get where we want to go. So we'd very much appreciate it in the meantime. And you guys might be wondering why Trevor and I, before we get to Lance Rants, obviously, you might be wondering why Trevor and I didn't have a show last week. Promise you nothing was wrong. It was very normal scheduled event, if you will. Trevor and I were very blessed and honored and humbled to be invited out to the Arrowhead Stadium, if you will, the now Arrowhead Stadium. Might be the former Arrowhead Stadium before we know, but we'll get to that in a little bit. But Trevor and I had the pleasure of hanging out and doing a little bit of a tour action, having a dinner up there in one of the nice suites. I think it was the top suite, if I'm not mistaken, at Arrowhead Stadium. And we had ourselves an absolute blast. It was a great night. We met some amazing people, and that's actually what I want to start the show with. We can show some of these pictures. So the first picture, I just want to come out swinging. As you can see, Trevor and I are hanging out with a dear friend of mine. I'll give you his last name. It's Mr. Langley. This is a guy that I have a lot of respect for and reverence for. We had a long story short. This is actually towards the end of the night. You might be looking at those rings on our fingers. Those are actual Super Bowl rings. So the backstory on that, just briefly before we really get into the show here, is Trevor and I had the pleasure of hanging out with one of the tour guides by the name of Al Herrera. This is one of the true OGs of Chiefs Kingdom, guys. This guy was talking about being neighbors with Lynn Dawson and Ed Budd. Like, these guys, he's been around for the longest time. He's talking about how the Hunts have always taken care of him. He was wearing a jacket that Andy Reid specifically pan-picked for him to wear.
True ambassador.
Yes, and at the end of the, because Trevor and I were obviously talking about the show with them as we're on the field, just looking at this place from a different perspective than we've ever seen it. At the end of the night, he pulls us aside and says, I want you guys to put these rings on, man, and take pictures with it and tell your friends about it and stuff. So we thought, let's tell our friends here at the Spoken Podcast about what we got to experience. So that's a picture, and if you want to put that picture up of us on the field, this is us, Trevor and I. I mean, I'm fangirling like a motherfucker right here, dude. I was absolutely loving this moment. I know, Trevor, you were feeling the same way.
Yeah.
Then we got a chance to go into the locker room. We're hanging out by the goats locker. There wasn't any animal feed next to it, because I thought, like, when goats are hanging out, like, they usually have animal feed there, but there was none of that. But it was very clean, very awesome. They also gave me a chance to be up on the mic at the press conference. I don't know if you have that picture up or not, but that was maybe one of the highlights of my life. I walked in the room. There was about 40-some people in there, and they said, go ahead and take the stage, Lance. And I didn't hesitate, as you guys can probably imagine by this point if you've known me for any length of time. That was absolutely a blast, and I had a fun time. There's a video I can share with you guys later of the first question I took was, why did you go for it on 4th and 1? That wasn't my answer or my question to inbound. I thought it was a little unfair, but that's just my opinion. I was set up on that one. I was coerced, if you will, but nevertheless, that was fun.
The tonsils were not tickled.
There was no tickling of the tonsils, man. I was a little disappointed on that one, but overall, that was an absolute blast. And then, as you can see on this final picture, Trevor and I are hanging next to the trophy case, and it's a loaded trophy case at this point. We're hoping that a case continues to get loaded as the years go on. And again, that's the main topic of tonight's show. But that was a genuine moment right there. I was on cloud 15, as I say, not cloud 9, cloud 15. It's a different place, much higher place, much more prestigious place. But Trevor, what did you think of that, man? I mean, did you have as much fun as I did? Because I still had to put ice in my pants today thinking about it.
No, yeah, it definitely tapped into the just the DNA of our childhood, man. Something that, as long as we've been Chiefs fans, we've never, been down on the field, never got to walk the tunnels. I have a cool video of, like, us walking out of the tunnel and all that, and just getting onto the field and just feeling the lights on top of you and everything, and the energy. Just so cool, man. Let alone the suite. My God, being literally on the tippy top of the stadium, looking down on the field. I mean, it was an incredible. I can only imagine watching a game from up there. It was really, really cool. The heights got me a little bit at first. Had to get me a drink from the open bar there, but just an overall cool experience, man. The tour was awesome, getting to walk the tunnels and look at all the banners in the tunnels. Yeah, man, just from that, wearing the rings to listen to the history of, Mr. Herrera and all the stories he had was really cool.
Hell yeah.
Being able to just, tap into that and, the history of this team that we grew up loving and truly enjoying the run that we've been on. Sucks it had to be a season, had to happen on the season that was kind of putting a stop to the success we've been experiencing. But nonetheless, man, it was definitely a fun experience and definitely tapped into our childhood, and I was giddy as all hell. So it was definitely a cool experience overall, man. Yeah,
and I think the timing was pretty odd because, as we all know, that things haven't really gone the way that we clearly were anticipating this season. But nevertheless, to be able to take that in and to experience it the way we finally got to this time around, man, it was about as much of a religious experience as you can have as a fan of a team. And like you said, our childhood, man, it really brought all that to light. So I was very appreciative of that opportunity, and I really do thank the Chiefs organization for allowing that to take place.
Absolutely.
But Trev, we got some things to talk about tonight, man. And I think that we've taken enough of people's time, and I appreciate the chat for already being here. I'm seeing the chat in there saying Merry Christmas to you guys. Merry Christmas to you guys as well. Happy holidays to you guys. Let's get to some conversations here, guys. I hope you're ready. Trevor, without further ado, it is time for Lance Rants.
Gotta scream! Down! We're back to motion! From out to the new beat! Woo!
need to address what took place this last Sunday against the Chargers, other than the fact that it was another disappointing loss, another close loss, another one-possession loss that the Chiefs suffered. And I would say that it was about as poetic in the most negative, most dark way possible, that in the game that the Chiefs were officially eliminated from the postseason contention, Patrick Mahomes goes down with a severe knee injury, and we now know the specifics of the injury. We know that he did tear his ACL. We do know that he tore his LCL. And just to give you guys a brief experience, or kind of give you guys a brief, understanding of my experience in that moment, obviously you're hoping no matter who the injury is suffered by, you wish for the best, you hope for the best, because these are human beings at the end of the day. And when they get taken off the field or walk off the field or whatever the case is, they got to still go to their families, their friends, their loved ones, and live their lives outside of the arena of football. So you never want to see people suffer injuries, but I think it's fair to say that this was a different magnitude, because we know that this entire era begins and ends with one Patrick Mahomes. And my biggest fear has always been seeing him go down with an injury that he can't shake off. We've seen this man shake off high ankle sprains. We've seen this man just get folded like a freaking blanket in games and walk off those injuries. This man has been Teflon. And when I saw him holding the back of that knee, because we didn't see it in live motion of like him falling the way that he did. Yeah. The camera obviously went where the ball went. I'm not going to lie to you. And Trevor and I, haven't talked about this. We were standing right next to each other, but my stomach and my heart sank simultaneously, because I knew that it was something that was probably going to end his season. And I'm no doctor, I'm no expert, but just there was that feeling of just, this is different. And when we got the confirmation, my worst fear became the reality. And I think I speak for all of you guys. I think that we all can agree to that the worst reality is it far surpasses the Chiefs just missing the playoffs. It's now Patrick Mahomes has a long road of recovery to get ready for next season. Now, I know there's a lot of speculation out there as to what's going to happen with him, when he's going to get back, things like that. We can leave that to just speculation. I will tell you guys for the record, I do expect Patrick Mahomes to be ready for next season, because I know what kind of workhorse and the work ethic that he has and possesses. I know that the injury, they said, can take up to 9 months to heal up, but we've seen guys in the past, even in recent pasts, come back within 6 to 8 months and play football like they never got injured. I'm fully anticipating that with Patrick Mahomes. Just to give you guys a little bit of hope and a little bit of truth here from my perspective, I do expect that he will be ready for the 2026 season. We'll see how that goes as time goes on. We'll sit here and we'll continue to monitor it as that does go on. And I don't want to lessen the injury. I don't want to lessen the failure that this season has been. I've told you guys on record, on Facebook, Twitter, and on here, I think that the 2025 Chiefs season is the greatest failure in NFL history. I think this team is the only team that I can think of that had what they had coming into this season and just outright missing the playoffs the way that they have. That is an abject failure, and I will stand by that. But I also think that there's a little bit of a silver lining here, because there's one thing I know about this team in this particular era, and we've heard it for years. When the Chiefs win their first Super Bowl with Patrick Mahomes, it was this run it back tour in 2020, and it looked like it was going swimmingly. It looked like they were going to repeat. They were the best team in the NFL record-wise. Everything looked like it was going to go right as planned. But there was a little bit of a concern that we tried to ignore that ultimately cost them the Super Bowl, and that was the fact their offensive line was absolutely depleted, and the run-it-back tour was officially null and void. This franchise, as currently constructed, likes to keep their guys. And I think I speak for everybody, and correct me if I'm wrong. If you disagree, it's fine. I think that if the Chiefs had an 11, 14, 15-win season this year, let's say it went the complete opposite, and they have another AFC championship, dare I say another Super Bowl run this year, there is a 0% chance that this team makes any actual like wholesale changes. That just would not happen. They would convince themselves that even though there are real issues and flaws on this roster, the results are the results, therefore it justifies them sticking to their guns. But now that this season has been an abject failure, and now that Patrick Mahomes is out for the season with a knee injury, this team has no choice but to make real, uncomfortable, but adequate changes. And that's what we have to talk about moving forward. Because we can't sit here as fans and expect this team to do it the same way they've been doing it for years and expect the things to change, because that is literally the definition of insanity. This league has caught up to the Chiefs. This league has figured out how the Chiefs do what they do, and now it is time to zig while everyone else is zagging. And we are here to talk about that tonight. And look, I know this is going to probably upset a lot of you, but again, we're talking about uncomfortable things here. I haven't even talked to Trevor about this, so he's going to learn this in real time with all of you as I run my mouth. But this all starts with what has led this franchise to the success that they've had over these last 7 years. There has never been a better duo in the history of this league than Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. The innate chemistry, improvisational ability, and immediate and consistent success and dominance is unmatched in my eyes.
The intangibles.
The goat-to-goat connection, as I've been coining it for the last few years, has been the key catalyst in the Chiefs forming one of the greatest dynasties we have ever witnessed on a football field. That time has come to an end. And it's not because of Patrick Mahomes' injury. It's not because Travis Kelce is no longer a really good tight end. He's still one of the 5 best tight ends in the league. It's because it's time for the Chiefs to begin a new chapter, a new era. And with that much needed change, there needs to be an evolution in how the Chiefs not only build their roster, but how they play offensively. For what seems like a decade now, Mahomes and Kelce have been able to seamlessly and at times easily mind meld their way to Super Bowls. With glaringly obvious deficiencies to the wide receiver room and offensive line, they maintained their connection and overcame any and all surrounding flaws. They no longer have that ability. The conversation is no longer whether Kelce can still play or not. We're not having that discussion. We know this man can still ball. The conversation is now about the offense shifting their mentality into more of a balanced and structured attack. The off-scheduled plays that this offense has been built off of since 2018 is no longer what can carry them through. They must become an offense that is on schedule and with more methodical and fundamental. Dare I say boring. Look, I consider myself the luckiest fan to say that my favorite team in the world once had the best quarterback and tight end to ever playing together. But all good things inevitably end, and I believe their duo is ending now. And if the Chiefs plan on getting back to their winning ways, in my eyes, this change is necessary. And again, it's not whether I think that Kelce can come back next season and play his role, but I'm going to be honest with you guys. From the conversations I've seen him have on his own podcast and quotes he's had, it sounds to me like he's making peace with the fact he's done with football. And I'm going to be real with you guys because, again, it's a silver lining theme that I'm coming with. I think that's a blessing in disguise because it's run its course. This team has relied so heavily. We talked about this, Trevor, 2 years ago on this show in 2023 when I was warning everybody about how this wide receiver room was flat out ass.
Yeah.
And I said, if they want to extend Travis Kelce's prime, they're going to have to get him more help. And they didn't do that. And ironically, that was his last great season. He was really good last season, but he was great in 2023.
In all fairness, he's been awesome this year.
He's been awesome this year, but I'm saying he's not.
For what it is,
we can agree that he hasn't been at his best. I mean, he's 36 years old.
That's what I'm saying. For what it is, he's been a top 5 tight end in the league this year.
Yes, but
you can't ask for any more than that.
But in 2023, he was still the best. He
yeah.
was still the best tight end in the league. Objectively.
Yeah.
He literally sat out a game that he was 16 yards away from extending his 1,000-yard season streak to 8.
Yeah.
That's an unprecedented record.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that I don't want Travis Kelce to still be with the Chiefs. I'm saying it's necessary to cut this tie now and start working on building this roster and in particular this offense with the younger skill position guys and stop going with the greatest hits and start moving towards a new era with Patrick Mahomes. Because we got to think about this. When Patrick Mahomes returns, he's only going to be 31 years old. He's got another 7 to 10 years left of his football career if he wants to continue to play. So for the next 3 years, this Chief team needs to start moving in towards that era. So by the time Mahomes is 33, 34, 35 years old, you have guys that are in year 2, year 3, and year 4 that have this system down, that you have a potential mind build with those guys. And it took time for Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes to get that going. He had an entire rookie season to practice with Travis Kelce, and then in 2018, what did they do? And even as great as Travis Kelce was the moment Patrick Mahomes took over, you still had prime Tyreek Hill. You had Sammy Watkins. You had Kareem Hunt. You had other pieces to rely on. That is no longer the case here. The Chiefs have to build this nucleus of guys around Patrick Mahomes that are younger assets that you can build the next 5 to 10 years with. What are your thoughts on that idea, Trevor?
So, I mean, I'm just trying to grasp what you're trying to say here. So, with the talk of Travis Kelce, you were assuming that this is going to be it for him.
Yes.
And you think that's what should happen?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I'm obviously on the other side of things. I refuse to believe that he's done until it's actually done. I do believe Travis Kelce will be back next year. I don't think I think there's too much pride, and I still believe there is an incentive for him to break those postseason records that he's only nipping at the heels of Jerry Rice. You know, I think those things matter to Travis Kelce, and all the reasons to believe that he's done, absolutely. You know, the body language and all those things, you know, right now and on the podcast, his tonality and everything, of course, right now. The season's not even over yet. He's still got football to play. You know, right now it feels very grim. But once the offseason starts, and he knows that there's another season looming, and he has a chance to maybe have a better year than what they've had this year, with maybe the worst year of his career as a Chief, just overall, not his production, but just overall as a teammate, as a part of this team. I understand. For me, man, I don't think Travis Kelce being on or off this roster is the pivot point for this team making the proper changes to improve from what this season was. I don't think so. I don't think that's a pivot point at all. I think him being on this team will only always be a positive. Not that you're saying it's a negative if he's on this team next year. I know that's not what you're saying. But I know what you're kind of alluding to is that maybe he should kind of get out of the way. Maybe this is just the time to let that die, let that heal, and allow rebirth to something new. And I fully understand that. And then that's what happens. I'm fine with that. I'll probably cry in the corner of my house for a little bit while just mourning the career of my favorite player
Absolutely.
ever, and Travis Kelce. But like I said, man, I just don't. I refuse to believe that. I refuse to believe that this is it for him. I refuse to believe that's the end of the mind meld, the greatest duo ever to exist between two players offensively. So for me, man, like that's just not for me. That's not the pivot point to change. I think change needs to be a staff thing. I think there's several voices in this locker room that need to be done. I think they need to be out of the picture. I think Dave Toub is one of them. You know, I feel about that. This season's been absolutely unacceptable, special teams wise. There's no discipline at all. I mean, we're probably in my mind, I know I'm biased because I watch all of our games every single second, but I believe that we're the worst special teams unit in football, and it's just absolutely unacceptable. And it's been a massive Achilles heel to this team. I think it's single-handedly lost a few games this year.
And that's what we're gonna. And I want to get to the.
I know we'll get to that.
Yeah. So I just want to maybe in a weird way over clarify what I'm saying about the whole Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes, the goat-to-goat connection being at its end now. You would agree with me, Trevor, because we've talked about this all season, all season when we had Rob Collins from Fox 4 on about this team relying so much on the improvisational side of things.
Sure.
To me, that is enabled because of Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce's relationship on how they play football. I think if you sever that tie now, what that does, that forces that change of let's start being more on, because I always talk about the game. I know it drives you nuts. I always talk about my favorite Patrick Mahomes game. It's the game against the Steelers in his first season as a starter. I went back and watched that entire game again the other day. I'm a sicko, I know that. 5 of the 6 touchdowns that Patrick threw in that game were three-step drop delivered balls.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen anymore.
Oh, I know.
And what I'm saying
that's my biggest grief with this offense.
Because the Chiefs got rid of Tyreek Hill, rightfully so. I thought it was a great trade in hindsight. Obviously, it helped the Chiefs win 2 more Super Bowls. But with that, there was more of a reliance now on Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes' ability to, create with the chaos.
So what you're saying is you think just Kelce, the absence of Kelce moving forward without him there, will force
yes
this ship to find a different direction.
Yes.
Force Patrick Mahomes to rely on just
because that
going
safety
through his
valve is no
reads,
longer there.
properly going through his reads and delivering a ball. And if it's not there, throw the damn ball away. Stop trying to improvise and live on the intangibles of Patrick, which has made him also, which is a thing. Like it's also what makes him great.
Yeah.
And almost all of his greatest plays are those kinds of plays.
Yeah.
But I would love the in between in that sandwich. You know, the good stuff in between the two slices of bread to be normal bullshit, boring shit, moving the chains, methodical.
Dude, we saw the Tom Brady.
Have that.
We saw the Tom Brady evolution, right? We saw different stages of their success. We saw Tom Brady at 30 years old throw for 50 touchdowns and 5,000 yards, right? Because he had Randy Moss. But then they got off Randy Moss and they had to adjust again, and they changed their style of their offensive attack. Now, Tom Brady was the same type of quarterback. He was more of a pocket guy.
Yeah.
But as he aged, the reason he was able to stretch his career so far down is because he stayed in the pocket and he played more of a methodical style of football.
That's the thing, though. That's like we've like kind of villainized the idea of what a pocket quarterback is. Like we kind of like it's because
embracing it.
No, for sure, because Patrick has been so great outside of the pocket, and it is fun. It's way more fun, of course. But honestly, the pocket awareness thing and the being able to just win a game by just strictly being what the traditional idea of what the quarterback position is, Patrick kind of broke that in a lot of ways. Brett Favre, guys like that, Aaron Rodgers, a lot of those kind of guys, they kind of broke the game in a lot of ways like that, while being wildly efficient, which is just like unfair.
Yeah.
But now it's kind of caught up to us, and I think the pocket, the idea of us having 3-step drops and delivering, going through maybe 1 or 2 reads and getting rid of the ball if need be, that's just wisdom. That's just being wise in the game. Not that Patrick like extending plays and making plays with his leader with his legs or his arm and throwing across the field, no look shit, whatever. It's sexy, it's fun. It's made him who he is. But also like it does come with wisdom to just be able to dissect and a lot of that comes too with being able to be better at reading your pre-snap stuff, being able to read the defenses audibly if need be and directing to the right play. 'Cause some of that Patrick has struggled with some of that in his career, kind of not seeing, not that he doesn't see the blitz, but like maybe audibly to a better play instead of just running the play and then trying to scramble around and make something happen when you probably could have audible to maybe a check down or something that, had a hot route, somebody to get the ball too quickly if the play goes to shit.
Right.
We've just depended on his intangibles too much. So I do agree with you.
And that's to me, that is like such a large section of the problem. But I also think it's this, dude, is that we know that Patrick Mahomes, because let's be real, I think you and I both would agree here. The connection between these two players has been able to blanket so many other flaws on this roster that we haven't even embraced or thought about because they kept winning. So what I'm saying is when you remove that blanket, you see the flaws in full motion. You're like, okay, now we have to address these. Because no matter whether, let's say Kelce decides tonight he's coming back for another season. We both know that no matter if he comes back next season or not, Patrick has a longer runway than Travis Kelce does. So what I'm saying is I think the writing is on the wall for this portion of the era where it's like this worked for 7-8 years. Now you have to move forward and do it again and find other pieces that build around Patrick. Because to your point about the wisdom aspect of it all, I think a lot of times when Patrick plays the way he does and it looks like he's either not seeing it correctly or there's something not right, I think it's because of the fact he's putting so much on himself to cover those flaws that if Travis Kelce's not out there cooking, he's got to go out there and make some heroic play. And that's why we talk about this season about how I was so pissed off seeing Patrick have to run so much to start the season, unlike any season beforehand, not to mention he's now in his 30s, which makes it even less safe. So that is a big reason and a proponent to why he got injured this year. Because what do you know? On the play he gets injured, he's running away from a damn from Tart, the defensive lineman for the Chargers, getting hit from behind and his knee buckles because he's trying to run away from a play and create by throwing the ball on the sideline. I think it was to Kareem Hunt, like some wild ass play that doesn't make sense in the grand scheme of things. It's because they haven't had the playmakers. Travis Kelce, outside of Tyreek Hill, has been the one true playmaker that Patrick Mahomes has had been able to throw the ball to for these last 7-8 years. And since Tyreek Hill left in 2021, after 2021, it's been even more of an emphasis on him feeding Travis Kelce to create in this offense, to generate things. Because it took Rashee Rice 8 weeks to develop in the rookie season. And since then, he's been hurt. He's been suspended. They haven't had the playmakers outside of Travis Kelce.
But to that point also, to kind of counter that point a little bit, the torch has definitely been passed to Rashee Rice, though, because when Rashee Rice has been on the field and available to play, he's led this team by far in targets and yards.
You mean the same Rashee Rice that people are trying to trade?
That's insane. You know me. I believe Rashee Rice is a superstar. I
Yeah.
think he's the best. He's proven to be the best receiver after the catch, right up there with anybody. The Jamar Chases, the Puka Nakuas. He's not as good as those guys as far as pure skill. Absolutely not. But I do believe that he's a star in this league. But like I said, I think the torch has been passed. So that's why I kind of push back on the idea of Kelce just maybe just needing to get out of the way because it's maybe kind of spoiled Patrick in a way, which there's truth to both sides. I do think that it has spoiled. That connection has been kind of like it's ran its course a little bit to this point because listen, man, this game is relentless and anybody can get got and anybody can get caught on to, and I think that's where we're at right now. And I've said that for the last couple episodes, like this. The league's kind of caught up to the Chiefs, and they're not scared of us anymore. The aura's not there like it used to be. The unpredictability has become predictable. We're not the smoke and mirror things that we try to do are just like they end up looking.
Better time? So what better time to make uncomfortable changes?
Yeah, that's like that. I'm kind of playing devil's advocate with myself here. Like I understand what you're saying. I'm seeing both sides to it. But I also do think there's a reality where both things can happen, and Travis Kelce can still be on this team and not have to be the safety blanket all the time. Because I do believe the torch has been passed, and it was passed last year to Rashee Rice. Because when he's on the field, he is easily the first read most of the time. But even that's been getting blown up. We've seen the last couple games, he's been getting set up and is absolutely obliterated. Hence him being out with the concussion this week.
And look,
yeah.
John said it. This was literally my next point. John, you got to quit reading my mind here. When he talks about Stafford. See, this was the take I've been butting on all week long, dude. Ready for this show. We need the focus now has to shift to longevity from Mahomes. How do you stretch his run out as far as you possibly can over these next 10 years, right? When Patrick Mahomes was coming out of college, we heard a ton of comparisons about Matt Stafford. And John Harrison just said it right here. Watch what Stafford did with the Rams last night. Under center, running the ball, play action, and running the 12. They run 12 and 13 personnel a lot. They confuse defenses constantly. This is the point I'm trying to make. If you want to get the greatness of Patrick Mahomes as far as you possibly can down this stretch, you have to get him to play more like a Matt Stafford. I know that sounds crazy because Patrick's better than Matt Stafford on the large scale. But look at why Matt Stafford at 37 years old is going to win MVP, is the best quarterback in the NFL right now. Why is that? Because he knows at his advanced age, I have to stay disciplined and within the pocket and deliver the ball to my playmakers. And to his advantage, the Rams have been able to get hella good playmakers for this man. He's got really good playmakers over there. And he's got a scheme, like John's saying, that sets him up for that success. So the responsibility and the onus is on this franchise to set him up schematically and set him up with playmakers while Patrick, as he's now in his 30s, he can no longer play like he was 20, like he did when he was 24. Back in 2018, it was awesome to watch the creativity. 2018 to 2022, he was doing this shit. But as he gets older, he has to rely more on that arm. And the beautiful thing for him is he doesn't. I look at guys like Joe Burrow. I don't think he's going to age gracefully because he's been banged up. And he doesn't have a cannon for an arm. Matt Stafford can exist. Aaron Rodgers can play at 42 years old at a decently high level because he's got a freaking arm. And Aaron now is a specific pocket quarterback.
Yeah. So
Patrick has to go down that same avenue as these guys who are otherwise mobile in their prime, their physical prime.
Very similar to Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
A lot of the way he plays. Yeah.
Look at Stafford's throws last night, all over the field, diamond. At 37 years old, because that's the game he's adapted to. Aaron Rodgers has done the same thing. That's why he's still playing and is starter in this league, because he utilizes his arm within the pocket. That's the player that Mahomes has to start evolving into. Stop with the magician stuff, but again, that starts with the team setting him up for success. Because if he had playmakers like he had in 2018, do you really think Patrick is running like he did this season? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Because he knows he can rely on those guys.
And a lot of that comes to protecting yourself too, man. A lot of that comes with being able to just live to play the next play. Not having to do all the crazy stuff and extend the play. And then I know that's the double-edged sword, because it's what's made him great. It's what's made him so memorable and already a locked-in Hall of Famer, first ballot. And arguably the best to ever do it, in a lot of people's eyes. So, but I agree a lot, and it's married to the play calling too. It's married to, like I said, it's this whoever's voices in the locker room are having the most say so in what we do offensively in our game plans. Something has to change. Whether it's Andy Reid giving up the play calling, and Matt Nagy maybe taking a head coaching job somewhere, maybe Tennessee, wherever he ends up. whatever changes are necessary, I think, I mean, maybe wide receiver coach, whatever, a lot of things need to change in this offense. I just think that the play calling was just honestly been atrocious situationally too. Yeah, man, I think a lot of that is it's not just one sole thing that's been the problem. Pat's definitely got to take some blame here. I think he's been not the greatest, pre-snap thing. I think a lot of the, just always trying to make something out of nothing every single snap. That's just not good. That's just not how we, there's been a lot of desperation in the air this year, man, because we're like desperate to win every single game.
Right.
The only real comfortable game we won was the Detroit game and the Raiders game. Other than that, it's been like we're just trying to find any way to win every single week, and it just ran its course this year. We were exhausted. I think the team was just mentally drained, and just it was and listen, we just came off 3 straight Super Bowl trips. I know way, and I am 100% coping right now for sure. But yeah, man, maybe the darkest time, and this is easily the darkest time in the Mahomes era. And it's for us to simultaneously lose Patrick Mahomes for maybe a year, calendar year. Who knows how long this is going to take? I'm on the optimistic side. It won't take that long, obviously, but a severe injury and simultaneously missing out on the playoffs is just it's a absolute punch in the face to all the Chiefs fans, man. And the energy is bad right now, but we got to figure out ways to make. And I think everyone knows, and I think there will be changes in. I cannot see a reality where there are not significant changes made.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up.
Coaching staff and everything.
Because that's where we're going next. I am a solution-based individual. I'm not somebody that likes to just sit around and gripe about things. I like to look for alternatives or options to make things better in any regard. And since we're talking about our team here, the Kansas City Chiefs, I'm here to bring solutions. You guys may agree, may disagree. I don't know. We're going to find out, though, right now, because this is the first portion of my official 2026 Chiefs wish list. So at the very top, it's something Trevor just mentioned, and I'm going to stand by. It probably, I will say this, it probably won't change. It probably won't happen. Yeah. But this is my request. Andy Reid needs to relinquish play calling duties, and here's the reason why. I think that Andy Reid has lost his touch. And let me make it official.
It's fair, man.
Andy Reid is the one that makes the calls. Andy Reid is the reason I can say that with all confidence is I can go back 6+ seasons ago in the first Super Bowl of the Mahomes era. The famous clip of Patrick Mahomes talking to Eric Bieniemy on the sideline before a 3rd and 17 play when they're down, I think 10 points at the time against the 49ers. Patrick looks, there's a little bit of a silence, and he looks at Eric Bieniemy and asks him, do we have time for WASP? Now, we could just stop right there and say, see, he talked to Eric Bieniemy about it. But see, I said on the 65 Toss Power Talk show, OCs are not created equally in the NFL. They don't have the same duties in every single team. And in Kansas City, I view OCs, offensive coordinators, as conduits between the head coach, Andy Reid, and Patrick Mahomes, the quarterback. Because there's another portion of the clip that some people don't remember. After Patrick asks that question to Eric Bieniemy doesn't look at Patrick and say, okay, let's run that. What he does is he pushes a little button on his hip that connects him to another person's headset on the sidelines and says, and asks rather, he wants to run WASP. You want to run WASP? Who do you guys think that was going to? Was it going to Steve Spagnuolo? That wouldn't make sense. Was it going to Clark Hunt? He wouldn't know what the fuck he's talking about. I'm going to assume that was going to Andy Reid. And why would that be? Was it because of the famous line that Andy Reid likes to say that I have 51% of the ruling? Sounds to me like Andy Reid's the one that calls the shots. Sounds to me like he's the one that may not come up with the play call, but he's the one that certifies it. He's the one that puts the stamp of approval on it. And that is what needs to change, because you're seeing this offense in live Technicolor. It is ass. It is figured out. This league knows what, and if you just watch that Chargers game, that's all you need to see. Their safeties are running 20 yards deep right at a wide receiver because they know where the ball's going. That is a schematic issue. Yes, this team has got to get better at the playmaker position. We're going to talk about that too, and it's on the rest of my list. But this is first and foremost. Andy Reid needs to bring a new set of eyes to this offense. And that's my second part. You need to hire a new OC that's never coached for the Chiefs. There have been too many Andy Reid guys that have been helping him run this offense. And I know it's worked in the past. And again, that's the conversation though. The past isn't always what works in the future, and oftentimes it doesn't. Yeah. And that is what needs to happen. I am not somebody that criticizes Matt Nagy or Eric Bieniemy or any of these other guys for what the offense is or isn't, because again, it is Andy Reid's offense. These guys are conduits, in my opinion. In fact, OC should stand for offensive conduits, not offensive coordinator, in my opinion. Matt Nagy is going to get another head coaching job because I believe that Matt Nagy is a very smart individual when it comes to leading men in this league, and that is half the battle when it becomes a good coach. And everybody says, "Oh yeah, but he failed in Chicago." Real quick, Trevor, who was his quarterback in Chicago?
That'd be Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah. Who won? Or I'm sorry, who went to the playoffs twice with Mitchell Trubisky? Matt Nagy. And when was the last time Mitchell Trubisky was an actual starter in this league? The last season that he would played for Matt Nagy.
Other than filling in for injury, yeah.
Yeah. He has not been a full-time starter since 2020. Sound like Barbara Walters, but 2020. And he went to the playoffs twice with that guy. So I don't want to hear that Matt Nagy's not a good coach. I will defend that dude to the day I die. I think he's a damn good coach.
And we don't know everything that's going on, on the sidelines.
Right.
Like if there's conflict between him and Andy Reid, like what play call to go with, and who's actually putting the things out there in Patrick Mahomes' ears. I don't know, man. Yeah, it's just all we know is it's a mess, and we've got to demand change.
Yeah, and now I'm getting into the personnel. It's the most obvious of them all.
Yeah.
You have to cut Juwan Taylor. Juwan Taylor would save the Chiefs $20 million in cap space if they cut him. This is a non-brainer. I don't think you really need to go into that.
Yeah.
Another non-brainer is cutting Christian Fulton. I was big on this signing originally. Christian Fulton has been a non-factor for this team for a myriad of reasons, I'd imagine. But he would save the Chiefs roughly around $5 million in cap space. That's a no-brainer. This is going to be a very unpopular one. Cut Drew Tranquill. Look, guys, I am a massive, massive fan of Drew Tranquill. He has played his part in Kansas City. He's helped this team get to multiple Super Bowls and helped them win the first one he ever played with them in. But Drew Tranquill is going to be 31. He is 31 years old. He has served his purpose as a free agent acquisition for the Chiefs. Most free agent veteran acquisitions don't last more than 3 years. You're lucky if you get 3 years with that next team. Tyrann Mathieu had 3 years. Justin Reed had 3 years. To me, he has served his purpose, and the $6 million that the Chiefs would get in return and cap space from cutting Drew Tranquill is, to me, more valuable moving forward than Drew Tranquill being on this team. I know, again, guys, he's a fan favorite. He's a hell of a player. I'm not trying to downplay what he is, but from the business side and from a roster building perspective, to me, it is wise to move off a 31-year-old linebacker. I think you need to stay younger and cheaper at linebacker because that is not a position of ultimate value for a defense. We've seen this team have a rotating door of linebackers, and they've won Super Bowls with those guys. I mean, Nick Bolton's the first guy they've really invested real money in.
Yeah.
And that's a guy they drafted early in the second round, number 58 overall. I wasn't the biggest fan of that signing, but they did it, and I'm okay with it because Spags loves him.
That's Spags' green dot, yeah.
The next one is restructuring Patrick Mahomes' contract. Now, this is going to happen. I'm going to tell you guys that right now, and I'm going to get to the specifics later on, but this is just a no-brainer, has to happen for obvious reasons because of cap strap situations the Chiefs are currently in.
Even more so now that he's hurt.
Yes, and the Chiefs have right now the second worst cap structure going in to the 2026 offseason. So this is going to be something, I'm going to give you guys the specifics in just a little bit. The next one's restructuring Creed Humphrey's contract. He's going nowhere. Right? He's 26 years old. We know that Creed Humphrey is going to be a lifer in Kansas City. This dude's going to play 14, 15 years for the Chiefs. So restructure that deal, maybe even extend him if you want to. I know he got one 2 years ago, but I would do everything in your power to get that money off the books, give him a fully guaranteed contract for the 2026 season, and move forward. This one is definitely going to be something that's gotten people pissed off at me. Extend Rashee Rice. That's on the second one. I don't know if you have that on there or not.
I don't understand the pushback.
And look at the numbers I put specifically. 3 years, $78 million. To me, that's a steal. But see, here's the thing. It's also a realistic number for both sides. Because Rashee Rice, to the Chiefs' credit, and they could say this in the negotiation table, and trust me when I say this offseason, they're going to be negotiating with Rashee Rice. He's not giving them a full season of football to really justify getting the big money that other receivers have gotten. Right. And if you look at the guys like Jameson Williams and Brandon Ayuk and Terry McLaurin, guys that I think Rashee, that's his tier right now. As he elevates his game, I think he will climb the tiers. But I think that's kind of the area he's in right now, like the Jameson Williams, Brandon Ayuk, Terry McLaurin guys. Those guys are all making around $28 million a year. That's specifically what this would cost. So I think you extend Rashee Rice. I know he's not played good football of late. He's been dropping the ball here and there. I'm not worried about Rashee Rice. I think that with the suspension and then coming off an injury, a serious injury, ACL as we know, I think there's been some, like I said, he's pressing a little bit. I think he's been trying to make plays. He's been getting blown up on some big tackles. I think that this is a guy that the Chiefs can and will build their wide receiver room around. But it doesn't stop there because I think that Brett Veach needs to spend real money on adding a free agent difference maker in this wide receiver room, and I think Alec Pierce is one of those guys. Now, I know that people say, well, what's Alec Pierce so special at? Well, first of all, he fits my criteria. He's 6'3", 210 pounds, and he's a freaking burner. This dude averages almost 20 yards per catch, and he's played
great catch radius.
Yes,
that dude knows how to. He gets up and gets it.
Big body, durable, and he's a guy that's had to play with bad quarterbacks and has still made huge plays down the field. What do we know this offense needs in the wide receiver room the most? Playmakers. Yeah. To me, Alec Pierce would be a legitimate playmaker in this offense because he would stretch these defenses and make those safeties fear him, which would open everything up in the middle for the guy that I just said get an extension for, which is Rashee Rice, who does a lot of the mesh routes and short digs and things like that. These guys would complement each other, and that contract's not ridiculous. 4 years, $60 million. That's $16 million a year, dude. That's a perfect contract in my eyes for a 24-year-old, 25-year-old guy that is going to be, I think, a good player and a good offense moving forward, no matter where he goes.
Yeah, I don't even think we've seen the best out of Rashee yet. So I'm right here with you, bro. It makes. I mean, with Rashee Rice and then signing a guy like Alec Pierce, I love these two. This is probably my two favorite things on the list here. I mean, I think there are other guys in the league that could be comparable to an Alec Pierce. You know, a guy like maybe Christian Watson from the Packers if he comes a free. I think they just extended him though. But I mean, adding a legit, and like we've seen it, man, with people, other players in this team that have been Tyquan Thornton, guys like that are taller and have that ability to stretch the field and gives a bigger body, a bigger target for Patrick to connect with downfield. I think it's shown to be effective. So getting a guy who's even better than Tyquan and Alec Pierce would be honestly a no-brainer for me, man. So I'm right there with you.
Sign the mid-tier veteran defensive end, defensive lineman. This is the reason I want this is because we know that Charles Omenihu's going to be gone. And I have further down the list the idea of trading or getting rid of Mike Dana because that would save the Chiefs a lot of cap space as well. It'd be about $9 million. And I think the Chiefs could maybe get a 6th-round pick for Mike Dana. Not a terrible player, not a very good player. He's a situational kind of guy.
Still holds value.
And again, we know this league, everyone's looking for veteran defensive ends. So if you could trade him, like I said, for a day 3 pick, make it happen. If not, cut him. I think they can get better and they can improve and save that money at the same time. I look at guys like Espinosa from the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah. Or even Colin Saunders.
Yeah, Draymond Jones.
Bring him back.
Draymond Jones for the Ravens. I wanted that guy at the trade deadline. Didn't happen. Yeah. I think that's another guy the Chiefs can look at. You're not going to spend a ton of money on those dudes, but guys that can come in here and play an effective role and help some of these younger guys develop their games. The next one is, I think, a total non-brainer as well. You resign Kareem Hunt to a 1-year vet minimum contract. Kareem Hunt is not young anymore. He'll be 31 next season, so that's old for a running back. But Kareem Hunt has shown us, even in his advanced age, he can be that battering ram the Chiefs offense absolutely has to have. Yeah. You know the reliability is there. He can get you that 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, 4th and 1, 4th and 2 on a consistent basis.
The guy's got a niche.
Yes.
Yeah, and he's the best in the league at that niche.
He's evolved his game.
He's literally the best short yardage option in the entire NFL this year. So, like, yes, you bring that guy back just for red zone purposes only. If anything, you're in a tight spot in the red zone. Like I've said all season, we got a guy. You need a first down on a 3rd and short, 4th and short. Got a guy. He's damn near automatic. It is what it is. Talk about the tush push. Eat your heart out.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And he's going to cost the Chiefs nothing. Kareem Hunt wants to be here as long as he can be.
He wants a ring so bad.
Yes.
That redemption story is just waiting.
Yes. It makes so much sense. This isn't just a sentimental thing. You guys know I'm a big Kareem guy, but it's more than that. It's because he has real value to this team.
He has a specialty.
Even moving forward. And I've heard a lot of other people say this as well, so it's not just me that's saying that. I will say that. Yeah. Obviously, I just said trade McDaniel for late pick or cut. The next one, it's so funny, Trevor, the evolution of this take.
Everyone's here now.
Yeah, the evolution of this take. I know some of you guys have been around long enough to know that I don't toot my own horn very often here. But I know that I was the first person to say this, that Trent McDuffie is a trade chip for this team.
Yeah.
And I've stood by that, and now it's become like the trend. It's like, oh, yeah, well, the Chiefs should probably trade Trent McDuffie, as if that's been the idea all along. But see, the Chiefs not only could trade McDuffie, trade Trent McDuffie, they should trade Trent McDuffie because the Chiefs right now currently sit with 6 picks in this next year's draft. Now, They might get themselves a very early pick in the first round. But see, that's not the way I think that this team can turn things around within one offseason like they have in the past. What you have to do is something similar to what you did with Tyreek Hill. You got to get as many picks as possible to justify said trade of moving off from a star player like that in the prime of their career and go and throw as many darts as you can in the draft. Because the last time Brett Veach had those types of that type of draft capital, when he had 12 picks in 2022, what did he do? He drafted 7 starters. The man absolutely cooked in that draft. That needs to happen again. I'm not saying that you can get 12 picks. That's probably not happening. But I do think they can get to 8 to 9 picks with just a simple move like this. I think, Trevor, and this is just going to sound crazy, but I think the teams you need to be looking out for, I'm just going to get out ahead of it. I think the teams you need to be paying attention to, and John Harrison said this in previous comments, I've been thinking it as well. The 2 teams in particular I'm looking at for a Trent McDuffie trade is the Rams and the Cowboys. 2 teams that desperately need cornerback help.
Yeah.
2 teams that will have cap space. The Cowboys they're the only team worse in cap structure right now, but with just a few extensions or restructures, they could have over $100 million in cap space this offseason. Knowing that Dak Prescott is 32 years old right now, they're trying to strike while the iron's hot. They know that they have Dak Prescott now. They're trying to win now.
Oh, yeah.
So trading for a Trent McDuffie makes so much sense for a team like that who's trying to win right this second. The Rams. Stafford may or may not retire after the season. He's playing great football, so there's no reason to think he's going to, though. He's still, him and Sean McVay have their thing humming. They got Puka Nacua. They got Devontae Adams right now, who's under contract next season as well. But their defense lacks cornerbacks so bad, and that was never been more on display than this Seahawks game this week. And they will have over 10 picks in this draft. So they can afford, and they also have, I think they have 2 first-round picks. So they can afford to give up the 29th, 30th, 31st, 32nd overall pick. I think the Chiefs can not only get a first-round pick for Trent McDuffie, but a first and a third, a first and a fourth, something like that. And I got pushback all week long, Trevor, from people saying, there's no way they can get that for a slot corner. There's no way they can get that for Trent McDuffie. Guys, listen to me. First of all, I'm going to say this. He's not better than these 2 guys that I'm about to mention, but my comparison is valid in my eyes. Jalen Ramsey and Sauce Gardner are they have been better cornerbacks than Trent McDuffie in their primes, okay?
Definitely more versatile for
yes,
sure. Yeah.
Outside guys, lockdown dudes, all that stuff, right? And they can be ball hawks too.
Well, and Ramsey can even play safety. That's a massive chess piece. Yeah.
And they're just bigger physically and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But my point is valid. Both at 25 years old. Jalen Ramsey was a one-time All-Pro at 25 years old.
Yeah.
Got traded to the Rams for 2 firsts and a 4th, okay? Sauce Gardner this year at 25 years old, a 2-time All-Pro, got traded for 2 firsts. Trent McDuffie is 25 years old, 2-time All-Pro. You're telling me the Chiefs couldn't get 1 first?
Yeah.
Because they can and they will. I'm not saying they're going to get a top 10 pick. They can get a top 25, 30 pick along with a day 2, day 3 pick with McDuffie, because that's the value of cornerback in this league. It may not be the same here in Kansas City. I've been telling you guys this for a long time. They don't value cornerback the same that they do in other places. Look at the Chiefs, even in previous years. Let Charvarius Ward walk, got a $40 million deal with the 49ers.
Yeah.
They traded L'Jarius Sneed, who was a lockdown corner in this league, and on this team, the best corner in the team, in my opinion, in 2023. Got a 3rd-round pick for him, and a team extended him in the Tennessee Titans, because they're going to be teams out there that are either desperate for cornerback, that have a veteran cornerback, that have a veteran quarterback they're trying to win right now, and or there will be teams that have quarterbacks in their rookie deals they're trying to capitalize on by spending on veterans, like the Patriots, like the Panthers, like teams like that know they need assets around this rookie deal quarterback that isn't going to make money for the next couple of years.
Yeah.
I think those are the teams you got to look out for with Trent McDuffie.
Giants, I think, are another team too that could definitely do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's and my next, I'm gonna kind of reassess some of this stuff, guys. But utilizing the 1st-round picks, again, this is my scenario of the Chiefs getting an additional first with the one they already have. Utilizing the 1st-round picks to draft best edge rusher and defensive lineman available. And my last one is utilizing the rest of the draft to fill holes at defensive back, tight end, running back, and linebacker. And that's not in any particular order. I will give you guys the order in just a second. But that's what wraps up my wish list. Sure, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with all these, man. I think this is a massive time for reflection for this entire franchise. I think there's a lot of changes that need to be made, and I think there'll be a legitimate outrage if nothing changes from the fan base. You know, that's saying a lot because we are slightly spoiled, and it is what it is. It's not our fault. You guys gave us this success, right? And we expect to maintain the success. We want to be one of those notable franchises in the history of this game There's always breaks in between great teams but the certain great franchises always tend to remain great, and we want to maintain this greatness. We've had a change in the trajectory of the existence of who we are as the Kansas City Chiefs, and it's been an incredible run, and we have no desire for this to go away and become like flash in the pan time in NFL history. We want to maintain this, especially as long as Patrick Mahomes is our quarterback. And what we saw this year was unacceptable, kind of all the way around, right? So I think this list is just kind of a microcosm of things that need to change. So I think a lot of fans probably agree with a lot of things, other than maybe the Rashee Rice stuff, or maybe people don't want to bring Kareem Hunt back. But I think we all know we need help with playmakers. I think we all know Juwan Taylor has been a problem this year with penalties. Granted, maybe some of them are his fault. Maybe he's getting picked on. It is what it is. But even then, he's just kind of struggled. And now he's been banged up, and I think this is a great time just to kind of part ways with him. There's certain things, moving on from Drew Tranquill, those guys like that have been around, have had success, but I think it's kind of ran its course as well. I'm just getting some fresh blood in here, coaching staff-wise, and, getting, some more youth in here, some more ability to getting finishers on the defensive line, for Christ's sake. I think Ashton Gillotte has a lot of promise. I think Omar Norman Lott is going to be a dog on this defensive line, and it sucks that he was knocked out the way he was this season. I think he has a lot of promise. Getting those guys more established in second year in, things like that. I think moving forward with, even guys like Bassa, getting Drew Tranquill out of the way, so maybe a guy like Bassa can get in there and show what he's capable of. He's an absolute dog and skilled player, very fast, maybe a little bit better in coverage than the linebackers we've had out there this year. But just so much. Just a letdown of a year, man, and I think this is the time to self-reflect and really change some things. And I think this list is great, and I think I'm right there with you, bro.
I appreciate it. And the thing about it is, it isn't just like Madden here. Like, they're obviously the money's gonna have to make sense, which is my next point in all this. Is that, again, the Chiefs are set, and this is according to Mike Giannetti from Spot Rack, who's he's just the messiah of understanding the cap. I follow this dude at a very high level, and I consistently read his stuff, and this is strictly from him, straight from him, actually. So the Chiefs are set to be $34 million over the cap this offseason. Again, this is according to Spot Rack. Parting ways with Juwan Taylor, Christian Fulton, and Mike Dana would open up exactly $34 million in cap space. So that is just, like I said, that's why those are just slam dunk moves to make. But see, there are restructures the Chiefs can make, and I mentioned this earlier on my wish list, that could really open up some money. And I know it is essentially kicking the can down the road, but some of these guys are going to be here for years to come, so it's not a big deal to do that. So restructuring the contracts of Patrick Mahomes, Chris Jones, Trey Smith, Nick Bolton, and Creed Humphrey would free up the Chiefs $106 million in cap space. Now, I will say this, for the record, I do not expect them to restructure Chris Jones. He'll be 32 next season. I don't think they're going to try to kick that can down the road. I think they're going to make do with the money he's making right now, and I think they're going to deal with that cap hit and that dead money while they still, because after 2026, they can get out of his contract if they really want to. So I don't think they're going to restructure Chris and then take a bigger cap hit and dead money in 2027 or 2028. I don't think they're going to do that as he ages. Trey Smith, probably not either. They just gave him that contract. It's hard for me to believe they're going to already restructure him a year after giving him an extension. Nick Bolton is interesting because I don't want to see him here for the next 4 or 5 years. I'd like to see him maybe for another year or two, and then they move off of him and then save that money as well. But I do think that without question, Patrick Mahomes and Creed Humphrey will be restructures, and those two guys alone would set the Chiefs up of over $50 million in cap space. Because Patrick Mahomes, his restructure alone would help the Chiefs around $40 million, and Creed Humphrey would help them with over $10 million. So those two moves right there give the Chiefs $50 million in cap space. Our guy John Harrison had he said that with the Trent McDuffie trade, it would save them an additional 13.6. Obviously, that puts them at 42 overall with the other guys that they would cut as well. So what I'm saying is the Chiefs have a tough offseason ahead of them, but they have adequate solutions. We're not looking at a team here, guys, that's like so far into the distance now that they can't come back within a year's time. We saw this team from 2020 to 2021 completely revamp their offensive line, and some of those guys that are on that line are still here to this day as legitimate stars in this league, in Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith. We've seen Brett Veach do this before. We've seen this team flip things within a 6-7 month frame and become a much better team because of it. I think they can do that, and again, some of these moves are drastic. Some of these moves are going to take some serious balls and a real risk for the Chiefs, but that's the kind of moves you make when you know that you have prime Mahomes, and you only have so many stabs at this to get as many Super Bowls as you possibly can. So just to put this up here on the screen, Trevor, show the people the reality of where everyone stands. Again, when I first brought this up, it was extremely unpopular that Trent McDuffie gets traded. But this is a poll that I put out just a few days ago on Twitter, if you can put that on there. Which Trent McDuffie scenario would you prefer? Pay him $100 million or trade him for picks? Would you look at that? 620 votes.
It's wild.
89% are with me on this now. This is called perspective. This is called understanding how to team build. I've been telling you guys for years now, this team does not value cornerbacks in a monetary standpoint like other franchises because they know this team is built around their quarterback. Not every franchise can say that. Why do you think teams like the Rams are hurting at cornerback? Because they know their team is built around their veteran quarterback and expensive-ass receivers on the offensive side. That's how they build their nucleus. They have a very young, talented defense there over in LA. That's how the Chiefs have to do it as well. Now, my 5 biggest needs to address in the draft. We'll throw that on there real quick. This is just my personal opinion. You guys are going to disagree, agree, whatever. I believe without question it is edge rush. This team has been lacking a deadly sniper figure out of the edge rush for years now. I think George Karlaftis is a solid player. He's worth the money they gave him. I know that sounds crazy, but you guys got to understand how contracts work in this league and the value in the market that these guys get. That is why this team needs to go get a real difference maker, a guy that can take this franchise and say, hey, I'll get you 12 to 15 sacks a season. If they get a guy like that, you will see Chris Jones play at his best again because Chris Jones has so much on his shoulders, his aging shoulders, I might add, but there's even more of an emphasis for him to be effective because they don't have that guy on the outside that can go out there and be an actual wrecker. They need to do whatever they can to get the best edge rusher in this draft, bar none. But they have other issues as well. Defensive tackle, the reason I say this is we don't know how much longer Chris Jones is going to be playing football. We don't know if Omar Norman Lott's going to return as a real player. We believe that. But there's also Jerry Tillery's going to be gone. Mike Pinnell's going to be gone. Derek Notty's going to be gone. They need bodies.
Yeah.
So if you can go get a skilled guy, and this is why I said about double dipping in the first round, if you can get 2 first-round talents on your defensive line, you want to talk about the revamping that I just said in 2020 to 2021 on the offensive line? That's what they need to do because Trey Smith, even though they got him in the 6th round, was a first-round grade. So they essentially got 2 guys in the first 2 rounds in Trey Smith and Creed Humphrey that year, and it revamped their offensive line. That's what they need to do on the defensive line this time around. And then obviously running back, there's no question about it. I know everybody loves Jeremiah Love and everybody wants the Chiefs to take, running back in the first round. That is not going to happen. The Chiefs are not going to get Jeremiah Love. They're not going running back in the first round because it's funny enough, the same people saying they need to go get him are the same people bitching about the Chiefs getting Clyde Edwards-Helaire with a 32nd overall pick after winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So you don't want to repeat the same mistakes, right? The Chiefs can and will find talent in the day 2 picks, and I think that's where they're going to get a running back because ironically, they got Kareem Hunt in the 3rd round when they traded up for him in 2017. I think they can go and get another stud in the mid-rounds at running back and get a real playmaker, a real difference maker in the mid-rounds. Defensive back is always going to be a need for this team because, again, they don't pay cornerbacks. So there is going to be a constant rotation of defensive backs on this team. Not only the fact that they're going to be missing Brian Cook this offseason because I don't think they're going to pay him. Jaden Hicks hasn't developed to the player we thought he was going to be. Chamari Connor, if I'm not mistaken, he might be up for a contract this offseason too, so he's not coming back. Noel Williams, Knowles, guys like that are going to be dudes that are going to be on this defense. I think those are going to be the guys that right now, I don't think Jalen Watson's getting a contract here in Kansas City. I wouldn't hate it. He's 27 years old. That's a good age to sign.
Cook's back?
I don't think Brian Cook's back. I think he's going to make money in the market. He's a safety, man.
He's been awesome this
He's
year.
been great this year. I think he's going to get 13, 14 million a year somewhere.
Yeah.
And there's going to be plenty of teams out there vying for him, and I don't think the Chiefs are going to be in that bidding
I think
war.
the Bucks would be a good team.
Yeah, they're not going to be in that bidding war with teams that are willing to pay, that kind of that position. So I put defensive back intentionally. Yeah. I'm not just saying cornerback. I'm saying safety and cornerback. Yeah. That needs to be a position of absolute attack.
We
and
never leave a draft without one of them, yeah.
Yeah, and then linebacker kind of ties it up. I know tight end, I said tight end as well in the back end, but these positions to me are more important in the draft because I think that they need to do as much as they possibly can at those positions, and I think that'll better the chance of the Chiefs succeeding again. Linebacker, because I don't think the Chiefs are going to be paying Leo Chanel. I would love that.
I think Drew Tranquill's gone.
I think the Chiefs need to remove themselves from Drew Tranquill, give Bossa a chance. But I do think at some point in this draft, they do need to evaluate the linebacker position because the Chiefs have lacked a pass protection out of the linebacker position. The middle of the field continues to stay wide open. I know that a lot of that has to do with Nick Bolton. But again, I don't think Nick Bolton's going anywhere this offseason. We have to deal with that. Get more skilled, get more talented, get younger, get cheaper at linebacker.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this? Do you agree with this list, Trevor? Or do you think there's something a little bit different?
I mean, yeah. I mean, you know me in the draft, man. You know, me and you are pretty similar how we approach drafts. We like to go defense heavy. You know, we think, you know, other than like if we absolutely have to have a need of receiver or a playmaker, you know, take your shot, specifically at, you know, tight end or receiver, in my opinion. Running backs nowadays are just too deep. There's so much talent, you know, in the later rounds of drafts at running back. And most teams that draft a high-end running back are bad teams. You know, for being honest, the Browns, the Raiders, the Detroit Lions, when they're bad, when they got Jahmyr Gibbs, you know, teams like that, sometimes it pans out, but even like the Giants, when they got Saquon, what did they just squandered his whole career because he was on a bad team. Most running backs like that get drafted highly like that land on bad teams. And it takes a long time, and it takes Saquon getting traded to the Eagles to even have a ring. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm not big on drafting. That's why I hated the Clyde pick, in my opinion. I don't like drafting running backs, so I'm right there with you. Grabbing one later in the 5th, 6th round makes a lot of sense. We've obviously have found success with guys like that. Maybe throw a receiver in here somewhere too. I wouldn't hate that, grabbing another guy, but I am a Jalen Royals believer, so I do think Jalen Royals will become a player on this team. Xavier Worthy still has a lot of growth to do, and you know, maintaining his health along the way is with that. And I'm obviously a Rashee Rice guy, so I think we're good at the receiver. Grabbing an Alec Pierce, a free agent player like that makes a lot of sense. So I have no problem with you not having a wide receiver on here. I do want us to grab another tight end, especially if you do believe this is it for Travis Kelce. I do not, so I'm fine with this list. Defensive line is obviously almost every single draft season. I'm always on just go early defensive line. You can never have too many good defensive linemen. That's the outside of like offensive line. Defensive line is where you need the most depth, in my opinion, especially on a team the way we win games. Patrick Mahomes being great and you know, rising all ships with his tide. You know, building on the opposite side of the ball makes all the sense. So I love this list, bro.
We had our guy John Harrison once again saying in the comments, David Bailey out of Texas Tech would be a guy that he would love the Chiefs. John, I could not agree more. I actually was doing a little bit of studying on David Bailey. I was looking at a couple of these other edge rushers. He's a mid-first round projection, so that falls right in line where the Chiefs are right now. I think the Chiefs currently have the 13th overall pick, if I'm not mistaken, according to NFL.com. And here it is right here. For what it's worth, 40 time of 4.52 at 6'3", 250 pounds. Like, that's pretty insane. He has a 100% overall rating as a pass rusher. Yeah. Literally 82% as a run defense. Again, this is according to NFL Draft Buzz. They have other cross references as well from ESPN, 247 Sports, Rivals, all that stuff. But yeah, he had 20.5 tackles for loss and 15.5 sacks as a senior this last year. So in other words, fuck yes. If the Chiefs can get David Bailey, they should 100% pull the trigger on a guy like that. And that's the beautiful thing about the Chiefs this year, and that's what I'm talking about, the silver lining, is that for the first time, guys, the Chiefs are going to have a legitimate chance to get that type of guy. Because we've been talking about all along, like, let's throw that up there real quick, Trevor, the Brett Veach conversation. I want to talk about this real quick. Where the Chiefs have drafted in the first round since 2018 when Brett Veach took over as Chiefs GM. If it's on there? Yep. Yeah, okay. So, 2018, they traded their pick to Buffalo because obviously they had a trade in 2017 to get Patrick Mahomes. 2019, they traded to Seattle to get Frank Clark. 2020, they had the 32nd overall pick, got Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So his first 3 seasons as Chiefs GM, he had 1 pick in the first round, and it was literally the last one. 2021, traded the pick to Baltimore, and they got Orlando Brown Jr., which was the left tackle, so it made sense. 2022, the first time they had multiple firsts, they traded up to get Trent McDuffie at 21st overall, got George Karlaftis 30th overall. 2023, the 31st overall pick. 2024, 28th. 2025, 32nd. So if you look at this, guys, Brett Veach hasn't exactly had a lot of chances to go get blue chip players.
Yeah.
That's not how it's worked. And again, he's had the pleasure and pressure of building a team with this much success, because with the success means you're usually not getting a chance to go and get the next Myles Garrett or TJ Watt or guys like that.
Funny enough, his closest to it is probably Josh Simmons in this last draft with the way he fell.
With 32nd overall.
He is a top 10 pick in my mind talent-wise. He just fell because of his injury.
Right.
So.
And you know, here's the thing, guys, and I know everyone's sitting here talking about, I want to talk about Brett Veach a little bit more, but I kind of want to park the car here for a second, because I'm actually, as crazy as it sounds with this season being so damn frustrating, I'm actually kind of excited about this.
Yeah.
Because I think that I really do believe, guys, that the 2026 draft is going to be the single most important draft in Brett Veach's career as Chiefs GM for a number of reasons. Because not only will it give him his first real shot at drafting early in the first round, but it will also be what makes this team his team moving forward. If you don't know what I mean, let me explain. No matter what Brett Veach has done as Chiefs GM, folks will never give him the credit for the Chiefs' historic success.
Sure.
Because this team's historic success has been largely built upon Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Chris Jones. What do those three guys have all in common? They're three players that were drafted by former Chiefs GM John Dorsey.
Yeah.
And with Kelce on his way out, in my opinion, and Chris Jones at the back end of his career, he's no longer the 15 sack, a season kind of guy. This team is in dire need of new star talent to help Mahomes into the next run. So it is pivotal for Veach to get it right in the 2026 draft for not only the Chiefs' future, but his own future as the Chiefs GM. Because I'm going to tell you right now, Trevor, if he gets the 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th overall pick and he whiffs, we're having a different conversation. Because then we can sit here and say, hey, Brett Veach, the one time he's had a real chance of getting that 10-year defensive end, nasty MF that can get you 100 sacks, and he whiffs on it, dude, I'm going to start listening to the criticism.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. If he hits and they go and get themselves the next Will Anderson or the next Myles Garrett, which is a reality because those guys were all drafted around that time frame, then we're sitting here changing the tune of, Brett Veach does get it. He knows ball. He can go get a Chris Jones. He can go get a Travis Kelce. He can go get these next superstar players at their position. The whole thing right now is building upon this 2026 draft, in my opinion. So that's why this one is so pivotal for not only Brett Veach, like I said, for his own legacy, but moving forward. Because if they knock it out of the park at this pick, it's gonna change the trajectory once again, the upward swing for this Chiefs franchise. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. I agree also with the take that some people see him as he just simply hopped on the SS Dorsey and has just been riding the the yacht of that success and the eye of talent for talent that Dorsey did have, which is you can't really argue it. It's just true. He hopped in at a great time, although he has brought in guys like Trey Duffy and he's had Nick Bolton and other guys that have been, major factors for this team and our success since Dorsey's left. But the guys like Chris Jones, Travis Kelce, the Patrick Mahomes, all those guys were not necessarily his guys. So this is I think the optimistic approach and the, like you said, the silver lining here is that this feels like the rock bottom of this run so far. And this is a great reset opportunity for Veach to really establish himself as a great GM. We already see him we already see him as that. A lot of us are here over the Chiefs Kingdom, but there is great criticism of, because he has had some whiffs, as all GMs have, as far as evaluating talent and, having whiffs. That is what it is. You swing, and granted, we haven't had great opportunities to pick in the top 10, 15 picks every year. So when you're, doing your best, there's going to be hits and misses. That's just how it is. Here we are coming off of 3 straight Super Bowl trips. It is what it is. You're criticized by the standard that you've created.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, and that goes all the way around. So this is I'm naturally an optimistic person. And I do think this is a great opportunity. And I trust Veach. I do. I'm actually a big Veach believer. I think he's one of the best GMs in the game. But this is a massive fork in the road moment. We're smack dab in the, maybe a little over the middle of Patrick Mahomes' career. He's nearing the latter part of his prime. It's go time. This is exclamation point territory for Veach to really put his stamp on this legacy that he's created here, not only for himself but just for what this team is going to be remembered for. And this is a turning of the tide with, like you said, the old dogs on their way out. Chris Jones could be here maybe a couple of years more. Travis Kelce might have been it for him. Patrick Mahomes coming off a possible career-altering injury. He might never play the same. Things might change for him, mentally, how he approaches the game and his preparation. Things might change a little bit for him. Who knows? He's still going to be the GOAT, but a lot of things are going to change, and this is a massive turning point for this franchise. And I got my faith in Veach, man.
Which is why the Chiefs should lose their next 3 games.
This
is where we're going to go now. Okay. Trevor and I did give Trevor a little bit of a heads up on this one. I do think Trevor and I might disagree on this, but that's okay because it's going to create good conversation. And I want to hear from you guys as well. So we'll put that on the screen whenever you guys put your takes out here on this particular topic. The Chiefs have no business trying to win these next 3 games. I'm gonna be abundantly clear here. I don't want anybody to misconstrue or misunderstand where I stand on this. I do not want the Chiefs to win a single game for the rest of the season, because this season is over. There is nothing to play for outside of, let's see what the young guys got. Let's see who will make this roster next season. If you know you're going to make this roster or you're a trade asset for this offseason, I don't want to see them on the field. The season is done. They have nothing to play for this season other than, let's see what these young dudes got. That's why Rashard Smith, Noah Williams, guys like that have got to get more playing time. Jalen Royals, obviously. Those guys got to be at the forefront in this.
Yeah.
The Chiefs need to focus on getting the best draft pick available. And you would think that'd be, kind of a universal thought at this point. Not so much so. And look, I'm going to say this as carefully as I can, because this man is an absolute legend here in Kansas City, and I have nothing but admiration and love and respect for him. I've met him several times. Awesome dude. His dad actually follows us on the Spoken, believe it or not. But whatever the Chiefs are paying Mitch Holthus, it's not nearly enough, because that dude is the ultimate company man. And after you hear this clip, you're going to know what I'm talking about, because him and I are on complete opposite ends of how the rest of this season should go and how the Chiefs should handle it. Let's go ahead and roll that beautiful bean footage, Trevor. This is courtesy of 96.5 The Fan.
Creed Humphrey, Nick Bolton, the class of 21. These guys have got to fill in the leadership void to press hard to try to beat Tennessee and move on to win the next 2. And try to win out and go 9-8. And don't tell me you want a draft pick and tank it. Don't even do that. Somebody comes up to me, I'll fight you all day. You do not do that, because you don't turn that on and off. So you try to get a winning season, keep the streak of winning seasons alive, and then attack the off season right away. I hate all the opting out. Now we got teams opting out of bowls, players opting out of bowls. Major League Baseball, you're down to maybe 5 teams by July the 15th, because everybody else is going to tank it. We'll get more draft picks. Why? So you can tank it the next year and the next year? I mean, there's some strategy to develop your roster, but I've never seen anybody really go, hey, we just built our team based on tanking. Maybe people would say the Rams, but did they really tank? I mean, so don't talk to me about tanking. You'll kill a sport if you – and I'm worried about baseball, because I just think teams give up, trade all their guys, and then they just start this cycle again. So anyway, I'm not a fan of the fan going, let's tank and get a pick. At 6-11, you're not going to get that more of a pick, I don't think, of being 9-8.
Well, I'm sorry, guys, I'm trying to roll up my sleeves here, because it looks like me and Mitch Holthus are going to have to fight, because he said he'll fight anybody that thinks differently than what he did by saying that the Chiefs need to do everything they can to try to win these next 3 games. Why, Mitch? What does it do? The only thing it's going to do is hurt the Chiefs' draft stock. That's the only thing that's going to do. And Mitch, again, with all respect here, man, I have to call out, in my opinion, a dishonest take, because in that clip he says there's not much of a difference between going 6-11 and 9-8 when it comes to where you end up in the draft order. Let's go ahead and put this on the screen, Trevor. This is from last year's draft. So as you can see, the Dolphins have the same pick the Chiefs have, and they went 8-9. The Bengals went 9-8, and would you look at that? That is a 5-pick difference. 5 picks between a team that went 8-9. I'm not even talking about 6-11. I'm talking about 8-9. That is a 5-pick difference. Do you guys understand what you'd have to give up to move from 17th overall to 13th overall? Do you guys get what you would have to do? With the Chiefs 6 picks right now, let's say the Chiefs ended up with the 17th overall pick, and they're like, man, we really need to get down to 13. They obviously have to give up that 17th overall pick, but they'd have to give up 2 more picks. And I'm talking about probably a pick in next year's draft as well, just to move that far up. Go look at Jimmy Johnson's little score table. I'm telling you right now, that's what it would cost. A top 15 pick in this draft is unbelievably valuable. Unbelievably valuable. So no, Mitch, I'm sorry. I know you've been around this game and have watched this game and learned this game and know this game better than I could ever imagine. But you're wrong. This team should not focus Their primary focus should not be winning games. And again, I know he's a company man. I know he has to say these things to get ticket sales and to help the team move forward and stay positive and all the yeehaw stuff. That's not the focus, though. We're going to talk about brass tack shit here, man. We're going to talk about the reality of the situation. I'm not here to spin shit. We're here to talk about the real side of things, the dark side of things. And the point is, the season was an absolute failure. So therefore, now that it's over with weeks to go and games to be played, your focus needs to be not on this season. Your focus needs to be on next season and how you can get better. And the best way for the Chiefs to get better is to get the best pick available. So no, the Chiefs should not win another game this season. And yes, if you want to qualify that as tanking, so be it. I don't give a damn. I want to see this team move off of 2025 as fast as humanly possible and get to 2026 and build a stronger, younger, more talented nucleus around Patrick Mahomes. Trevor, your thoughts?
Yeah, man. So when I heard Mitch, I understand what he's doing, right? And I understand what you're doing. I understand your point. But your point is uncomfortable because it's the quiet part out loud, right? Tanking's been going on forever. It just became a trend, especially like in the social media era, the suck for luck stuff, all that stuff. That became more of a thing. It's starting to leak into college now, which it kind of always has been there, but it's become more notable because of social media and that everyone has a voice and an opinion now. And it's now becomes a hashtag, whatever. For me, it's uncomfortable because I know I put myself in the athlete's shoe, and there's no way as a competitor you're going to go out there and intentionally try to like take a step back, maybe not be as competitive. Because for me as a competitor, whenever I played sports, which obviously just my personal opinion, I always kind of had one speed. If I'm on the field or the court or whatever, I'm playing the game to win. And it's hard to take that off the athletes. And the athletes are going to be the ones that are going to be out there to compete and play the game. It makes sense for the front office to have that idea in mind and to want to do that. But from my perspective, I'm putting myself in the athlete's shoes, cleats, if you will. There's no way I'm going out. And I know it doesn't make a difference because we're already we're not making the dance. We don't have a date. I get that. But just the competitive nature of this game and the athletes that are going to be on that field, they're going to want to play to win the game. And we do have a couple easy matchups. And listen, man, next week we have a game on Christmas Day. As a fan, do I want to sit there and just watch a team that's purposely, intentfully going out there to not win? Fuck that. No, that's just my opinion. I don't want to watch a team on Christmas Day intentionally trying to lose to have a better draft pick by a spot or two. Fuck that. No. But I understand your point, though, too. I understand you saying the quiet part out loud because that is logical. That's the logical take, absolutely. But my feet in the cleats of these athletes, it's emotional for me. This is pride. This is my livelihood. This is me maybe possibly getting myself another job. So I want to win this game. I at least want to win at my personal performance. And if everybody's in unison and they want to win in their personal performance, usually that translates to wins in general in the win and loss column. So for me, I see both sides. Honestly, I agree. I would love to have a top 15, top 13 pick. Fucking sign me up, bro. But at the same time, it's like it hurts me to say that quiet part out loud. And I kind of think that's where Mitch is probably coming from. It is a pride thing. We want to still win, at least end the season with a winning record in this dynastic run. But the dynasty is on pause this season also. So that is a fact as well. So I see both sides of me. Bro, I can't help but have the emotional approach here, especially me as a fan and the athletes that have the opportunity to display their skill set and their talents on Christmas Day, which is a special moment for these players, and to purposely, take some heat off of their play because the message is to, we want to just lose out. I have a hard time just digesting that, bro, me personally, but it also is logical. Because we do want a better pick. We do want to have a chance to, get a blue chip guy. And everyone in the chat is wanting to say, we just need to go get blue chip guys as if those guys are just creeping into third, fourth rounds. It doesn't happen. So it's which one do you guys want? I think this is obviously going to be a torn thing between, the fan base because most people still want to watch competitive football. We still have weeks left. This is kind of uncharted territory for this era of the Chiefs. So it's going to be hard to digest watching shitty football if that is the case. We do take our foot off the pedal. Me personally, that's hard for me to watch and hard for me to accept. But at the same time, it also makes more sense.
What if I
So
told
agree
you?
with you?
What if I told you that I think the team actually agrees with me?
That's what I'm saying. So
Because-
yeah, possibly.
What are the
the inactives,
chances?
yeah.
What are the chances that the week after the Chiefs are not only eliminated from the playoffs, but Patrick Mahomes goes down with a season-ending injury,
Yeah.
that Trent McDuffie, Leo Chenal, Jalen Moore, Rashee Rice, Juwan Taylor, Tyquan Thornton,
Yeah.
Najee Johnson, Derek Nottie, and Jake Brenningstool are all out. Like,
When Rashee Rice had a concussion, he
Yeah.
never even went to the blue tent for a concussion.
and you would
games.
agree
When
with
did that
me,
happen?
Trevor, again,
Yeah.
with the scenario that I said I painted earlier.
Yeah.
If the Chiefs had 11 to 15 wins right now, do you honestly believe this list is happening?
No.
Do you honestly believe these guys are all in? I'm not saying that
Yeah.
some of these injuries are legit. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to downplay it. I'm saying
It just feels dirty saying the quiet part out loud. That's my
and
that's my
that's
take.
why we're here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We're here to have a real conversation here,
No,
guys.
for sure.
These guys, I'm not saying that none of these guys would be inactive. I'm saying, to me, it's not a coincidence that it happens simultaneously after the season is essentially over for the team and their best player is out.
Yeah.
Like, if the season was over playoff wise for the Chiefs, but Patrick didn't get injured, I'm telling you right now, this list is half and half, because these guys would still want to go out there and play with their captain. But because they're out and because he's out, these guys are not going to play through some of these injuries. I guarantee you some of these guys on this list would play through these injuries because they have played through injuries in seasons of contention or even earlier this season because they thought they had a real shot. These guys have injuries all season long, every season, and they fight through them because they have something to play for. And you're right. You make a great point about, there are guys that are out here trying to fight for a job. Those are the guys that are going to play, though.
Yeah.
There are guys on this team right now that are interviewing for jobs not only with this team, but other teams. That's why Brian Cook and guys like that will play in this game, because they're trying to show you, hey, come get me, come pay me. I'm real and I'm available. That's what's going to happen in this game. So I don't disagree with you on that. I'm just saying that I think there's a little bit of a context in who and what and where, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to that kind of thing, when it comes to the pay scale. A lot of these guys on this team that are inactive on this are either trade assets, so the Chiefs are trying to protect them, or guys are going to be here next season. So I know Chris Jones will probably play in this game, but watch. I guarantee you he doesn't play 50, 60 snaps in this one. I bet he plays 25 or 30. And then what do you know? After this game, no matter how it goes, Chris Jones has a little bit of an ankle.
Yeah.
He's not going to play against the Broncos on Christmas. He's out for the Raiders.
The way I see it, man, it sounds funny, but like draft position is earned good and bad, right? Like if we're gonna be into the top 13 to 15 picks, I want to earn it by straight up just losing, not by losing because we're voluntarily saying, hey, we're waving the white flag. Let's straight up get beat. Then I still want to go be competitive, and if we get beat, we get beat. I want to earn that higher draft spot by losing games the right way. As weird as that sounds, you know what I'm saying? Like,
real quick, I don't think Andy Reid's going to go,
yes,
hey
I know.
guys, let's not win. Throw an interception here.
But like you said, resting guys that probably wouldn't be rested if the shoe was on the other foot. Still feels like it's like we're kind of waving the white flag slowly but surely. So that's what I'm saying. Like, that's hard for me to digest, bro, as a fan.
But okay, let me
it makes sense. It's logical. I get it.
I want to come right at that mentality though, because I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm going to ask a question towards that mentality. From your perspective, though, it may not be fun, but it also isn't fun to be where we're at anyway. So if we don't want this to replicate, your idea is, hey, my idea is, and everyone's idea is, hey, this team needs to get as good as possible this offseason to not have this happen again. So in the big picture, a 10,000-foot view,
The grand scheme, yeah.
Yes, the losing right now is the micro to the macro of getting better, if that makes sense. Like, you have to sometimes lose games like this in order to get the best player. Like, if we know the Chiefs, if we knew right now, Trevor, hey, lose your next 3 games, you get the next Myles Garrett, would you do it?
Of course.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying.
The chance to get that guy is there. Yes.
Just don't.
The chance to get that guy is there. If they go 9-8, it's probably not there, because then they probably have the 18th, 19th, 20th overall pick. That dude's not going to fall that far, more than likely. But if you lose, yes, it sucks to watch the team lose. It sucked to watch the team lose all season.
Yeah.
They've been losing games all damn season.
Yeah,
it sucks.
Yeah.
And that's when it mattered. These games do not matter anymore. So worry about what does matter, and that is getting back to Super Bowl contention in 2026.
Just lose all the games other than Christmas Day. That's the only one I want to win, bro. Like, don't ruin my fucking Christmas by going there getting mollywopped by the freaking Broncos.
Okay,
bro.
but if they win that game, it's like, okay, they go 7-10. Wow.
Just
you know what I mean?
beat
Come
the
on.
Broncos on Christmas.
Counting the W's and L's right now do not matter. It's irrelevant.
Yeah.
It is irrelevant. If the Chiefs still had something to play for, I'm on that side of the table with you. It's just not the reality anymore, man. So there is a death nail in this team.
We have something to lose for, okay?
Exactly. That's the way to look at it. And I know people are going to disagree with me and be going to side with Mitch Holtis because I get it. We're fans.
Because it feels dirty, bro. Like it just feels dirty. It feels like that's beneath us because we've been so successful. That's why for me it's like, it's just like
I'd much rather be in
giving me heartburn.
I'd much rather be in the position where the Chiefs are still winning games despite flaws. But because they're not, you have to alleviate the flaws. The best way to do that is to get the best draft capital available and refill your roster with, like the comments are saying, the people in the audience are saying, blue chip players. Blue chips give me the top 10 to 15 players.
Yeah.
Got to go out there and get them. So I want to move off that because I've got to get to the people in just a second here, Trevor, but there's one more order of business that we have to address directly on this show. And what do you know? In theme, it's another uncomfortable conversation. I've been telling you guys now for the better part of 2 years, the Chiefs are moving to Kansas. And that has been almost all but confirmed. This is according to the Kansas Department of Commerce. We can put that on the screen. This is as soon as the reports came out yesterday. They said, we are aware of the media reports regarding the LCC meeting on Monday. The state of Kansas is in active discussions with the Kansas City Chiefs about the prospects of building a new stadium and other facilities in Kansas. No final agreements have been reached, but this would be a massive economic win for Kansas and benefit Kansans for generations to come. We are aggressively pursuing this opportunity. So if you just read this, you go, oh, that doesn't really tell me much. I mean, that just sounds like it's still kind of where they at all along. Well, after this came out, there was another report. It's from 810's WHB Sports Radio's Soren Petro put this tweet out. Says, there is a meeting scheduled in Topeka on Monday. I'm being told the Chiefs are scheduled to be at that meeting, however the roles are not. Barring a last-minute, quote-unquote, screw-up by someone at the top, announcing the Chiefs are moving to Kansas will happen after that meeting. As plain and simple as I can put this, guys, if Mark Donovan and Clark Hunt and whoever else associated with Chiefs brass goes to Topeka on Monday, the Chiefs are moving to Kansas.
Yeah.
It's that simple. They're not going to take time out of their busy schedules while the season is still happening to go to Topeka and meet with state council unless a deal is there to be reached. It's not going to happen.
I mean, the writing's been on the wall, to be honest. Let's just be honest.
I'm not even just trying to take all the credit here for our show, but several of those shows have been trying to tell you guys in plain English.
Yeah.
When there are star bonds to pay for 70% of the expenses, when you have an untapped land mass to build Chiefsville, next to built-in amenities of the Legends and places like that, and then you look at Raytown and how they've had 50 plus years to build anything over there around the stadium, and they haven't. And Mark Donovan said this as much a year and a half ago when they said, we can't build around here. We don't want to build around here. And then it gets turned down vehemently by Jackson County voters. What did you expect? Trevor and I have been saying this on the show for 14 to 18 months. The writing, like Trevor just said, the writing is on the wall. Yeah. The Chiefs are moving to Kansas. And I know so many people are upset about this. I know that, people are saying it's not going to be the same. It's going to take away from the tailgate and all this stuff. Look, Trevor and I have spent our whole entire lives, just like a lot of you, going to Arrowhead. And we know that from just a casual fan view, an attraction, a large portion of the attraction of the experience of going to Arrowhead is the tailgate and that energy and that aura. And I know that people think it is just attached to that area, but I want to build an analogy real quick. So our former co-host, Eddie Ortiz, his family is so tight-knit. Trevor and I have hung out with his family several times. We've been to quinceañeras, we've been to birthdays, just celebratories, whatever they got going on. They have lived in the same house for a long time, his whole family. But I talked to Eddie today about this, and I was bringing this up in this conversation. I said, hey, Eddie, I want to get your perspective on this real quick. If your folks told you, hey, we're moving out of the family house, and we're going to go somewhere else, and then you guys, all went over there and start hanging out and stuff. I said, would the experience of what you guys do really change? And he goes, no. And I said, is it because of the fact that what makes the experience is the people and the food and everything you guys do? Because there's that famous line, what actually makes a home? Is it the house, or is it what you do with it and the people you live with and the experiences you put together amongst yourselves? It's clearly door number 2. And although, yes, Arrowhead has this incredible history of fandom and all this other stuff, guys, the tailgate happens outside the stadium. I hate to be the semantic guy here, but it's the people, it's the barbecue that makes it what it is. How do I know this? Trevor, how many times when we were kids did the Chiefs suck? Or not, they just weren't a good team. Like, they were not a playoff team. They, 7-win seasons, 8-win seasons, just mediocre, whatever. 2012, that was what. Did the tailgate go away? Did the experience go away?
Arrowhead is still one of the most difficult places to play, regardless.
People still went, right? People were still out there partying like it was 2019. You know what I mean? Like, that's never changed. So what I'm trying to get from people about this whole change, which is going to happen, the Chiefs are going to move to Kansas, and they're going to get a much new and improved stadium that's going to have fewer seats. It's going to be a little bit more modernized, which is totally good, and I accept that. I want it. Do you guys actually believe that moving 20 minutes away from where they're at right now is going to take away from what you bring to that place every single time you guys go out there? Because it's you, it's me, it's every other Chiefs fan that goes to those games that makes that experience what it is. It's cooking that barbecue at 8 in the morning before the game starts, that aroma, that's what's going to make it, and that's what's going to transition to the next place. I'm not worried about the change on that regard. It's going to be a change on the aesthetics of the building, but again, the things we're all addressing here are things that happen outside the building that has actually nothing to do with the building. What happens inside the building is the winning and the losing from the team. But from the experience side of things, that's going to transition to the next place. And that's where I stand on. I know where Trevor stands on. We haven't talked about this very much, but that's where I stand on. I have no worries whatsoever because it's going to be the same Gregs, Daves, and Monica's. They're going to be going to that stadium that have been going to that stadium for the last 30 years.
Well, like it's quoted in the great cinematic artwork of Joe Dirt, home is where you make it, right?
Goddamn boy, everybody doing that.
Goddamn boy. Listen, man, and this is I mean, me being a Kansan, a lifetime Kansan, a homer, of course I'm stoked and excited for this, opportunity to honestly build a sports mecca like I've been calling it. This is what Kansas has been trying to do, and we're about to accomplish it. Possibly bringing another hockey team onto the side of the fence too. Maybe they've been pushing for an NBA team for a long time. That might be something in the near future that could be possibly pushed as well. So I think they're really working on. You got professional soccer, you got NASCAR, and you got to have the Chiefs over here. They're building a true mecca over here, and I'm all for it. And I feel for the people that have had the team on that side of the fence for as long as they have. But I also think that change is necessary, and it's not like they're moving to St. Louis. It's not like they're moving somewhere that's a little more out of reach. So for me, man, this is just an exciting. I think change is just necessary sometimes, man, and it's 100% uncomfortable, But I think this is a good thing, and I know people are talking about Patrick Mahomes is going to be on the verge, and if not, or retired by the time the stadium's actually in full effect, which is true. But that's also a great thing to set up a new, era following this great era. This is the womb of maybe something even bigger than we could even imagine. Obviously, no, we're never going to top Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. Right. This era is goated, let alone in Kansas City, but in NFL history. But this could birth a great culture even more so than we've experienced in our lifetime as Chiefs fans. And this culture is thick. I mean, this is a very unique aura that we've created in this city of both sides, man. Kansas, this is a unified effort. This is a unified fan base across state lines. There is no division here. That's not how this works, at least for us, at least for the logically minded Chiefs fan. So for me, this is just an exciting opportunity, man. It's less about me like, haha, we got the Chiefs now. It's less of that. It's fun to kind of poke fun.
Yeah.
And that's always gonna be a talking point, just to talk shit. But I think everybody knows this isn't going to change anything for us as fans. We've spent like you just said, we spent our lifetimes going to the other side of the state line,
And it never meant anything.
And experiencing all the smells and all the friendships and all the hugs and beers and everything. And it doesn't. We never thought about, oh, we're in Missouri. None of that shit ever mattered. This is a great opportunity to have change and to have a fresh start of something new. Like I said, we're in a womb right now of something possibly even more beautiful, legacy-wise, longevity-wise. You know, we've never had this before, and this is something that could linger into being you know, the Steelers, the Patriots, the Niners, the Cowboys, you know, the teams the franchises that are remembered forever in NFL lore as the great staples of the NFL legacy. And we are working on becoming that, which we basically kind of already are with this era that we've experienced in this dynasty, and what we have still to achieve with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. But what also could come after that? Sustaining success, you know, being an attractive place for other free agents to want to come play, you know, building a mecca in the beautiful state of Kansas, you know, things like that. It's exciting. It's exciting for me, even if I was someone who grew up in Missouri. I think it's still exciting for new things, man. You know, and it is what it is. You know, I mean, most stadiums don't last as long as Arrowhead's been around. Like,
it's going to be a 60-year-old stadium by the time this happens.
It's becoming a relic and a beautiful one. Trust me.
Yes.
We're just on the field out there, and the energy is wild.
We loved every second of that.
But I mean, this is how life goes, man. You know, with time comes change, and it's just this is a possible. Like I said, we're in a womb right now of something getting ready to birth, and I think it's very exciting.
And I want to address that part briefly before we get to the people. And I know we've been going long, guys, so I apologize. We're gonna get to your questions, I promise, and keep bringing them to us. You mentioned one of the comments about how, you know, Patrick Mahomes will probably be at the end of his career by that point, or at least coming to it. And I saw Randall Groves 8951 say, the only thing I don't like is the new stadium being a dome. I love the weather advantage being a part of Chiefs football. Besides that, it doesn't bother me at all. Okay, let me just address those two things kind of in unison.
Yeah.
We all want to see Patrick Mahomes play as long as he possibly can, right? A lot of us would love to see him play into his 40s, and even his father said on this very show at one point that he thinks that his son will play into his 40s because he has a lot that he wants to accomplish, and it's going to take a long time for Patrick to accomplish some of these things. The best chance the Chiefs have of getting that out of Patrick Mahomes is if they play in a dome. Do you guys understand? Like, obviously in Kansas City, you're not going to have warm weather throughout the fall season and winter season, right? Like a Florida team would. So that you look at that as an advantage when you have teams come in, sure. But wouldn't having a healthier, more spry Patrick Mahomes in 70-degree controlled temperatures be an even bigger advantage as opposed to a 36, 37-year-old Patrick Mahomes playing out there in 10-degree weather? Look at the majority of the best quarterbacks that played long into their careers. They either played in a dome and or they played in warm weather cities. Tom Brady does not play till he's 45. He stayed in New England. You saw his age in cold-ass New England. Why do you think he went to Tampa Bay? Well, obviously, yeah, he had weapons, you know, prime Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, they got Gronk back, all that. Sure, that's fair. But he also was playing in 80-degree weather in a division where other teams in that division play either in that weather or in domes. It made total sense for his career at that point. Look at Matt Stafford. He's played his entire career in either in domes or in warm weather. Why do you think he obviously he's naturally talented, he's a great quarterback, but that sustained him. Drew Brees played till he was in his 40s, played in a dome. Opposing teams were in Tampa or in domes. Is it making sense? Like, if you want Patrick to be at a high level in his mid to late 30s and dare I say 40s, this is going to make the most sense for sustainability purposes. I understand, I like the snow and the weather and the cool shit. I'm sorry, just a side note, I prefer games to be won and lost legitimately by the players and coaches. Because we've seen games like the Rams and Eagles last in the postseason last year. If that game's in LA, Rams win the game. Because in my opinion, they were the better team in that game. But because they're not a team that plays in the snow and the Eagles are and they're built for that, it gave them a significant advantage.
Go ahead. Also, man, like the fan base is what makes the home field advantage, though.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, no one ever talks about, it's, it's a game in a fair weather game, sunny day in Kansas City. And when they're talking about the home field advantage, they're not talking about weather. They're talking about the fans. They're talking about how hard it is for the opposing teams to hear. They have to have a silent count almost every time they come to Arrowhead because of how loud we are. Now put us in a dome. Right? It's the community is the community. We are showing up regardless. We travel well. Every time the national anthem is saying it's the home of the Chiefs and it's a raucous crowd every single home or away game, whatever. It doesn't matter. We are the home field advantage. Us. Take some pride in that. We don't need snow to be an advantage. We have Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. Right? We've had Travis Kelce. We've had Chris Jones. We've had us as a fan base roaring and losing our voices by the end of the night because we're so passionate. I think some people, because we're in it, some people don't realize how unique our fan base is compared to a lot of other teams, right? Obviously success matters, but like you said, like we've had the blackout years. We've had things, Save Our Chiefs years, all these things, the Matt Castle days, all this shit. And we were still showing up to games. Or granted, we were in protest, not showing up to games as much at certain times, but the tailgates were still there. The barbecue was still there. If people that weren't there were yelling at our TV screens every single week, we always show up. We are the home field advantage, man. It ain't about, listen, and I know there's going to be sentimental value attached to this stadium 100%. Like part of my DNA is going to forever be attached to that place. But change is imminent. Change is necessary at times. And I'm excited for it. I think everyone should band together and be excited for it because it's about us. It's not about a stadium. It's not about us needing snow to have an advantage. We are the advantage, bro. Yeah. Straight up.
And just one final point to that: even if you're not excited about it yet, and you're not, thrilled about this move and everything, all I would ask is you just at least give it a chance. You know what I mean? Like at least let this team, this franchise, try to prove it to you that this was the right move. Because I'm gonna be honest with you guys, this from a business sense, this makes a ton of sense for the Chiefs because right now, at Arrowhead, they could probably do 4 to 6 months of actual live events outside of, obvious, the games. With a dome, with a retractable roof or whatever it's going to end up being, you can do year-round events, which is going to only help this city when it comes to revenue streams. They're 100% getting a Super Bowl once this happens. You're going to get all the concerts. You're going to get all the events, everything you can think of. It's going to happen in that Mecca that Trevor calls it. It's going to become an absolute figure in the Midwest.
It's going to be a national attraction.
Man.
Straight up.
So this is a great thing from a business sense. It's going to open up doors for so many jobs and all kinds of stuff, man. I'm telling you guys, I understand that the progressive mind in the Midwest is not always a strong thing.
Yeah.
We grew up here. We know how that is.
Yeah, we like to conserve.
Yes. And there's nothing wrong with that.
There's pride in that. Yeah.
Yes. I love tradition. Trevor and I are very traditional dudes in a lot of ways. But I also like progress. And I think that this is going to be something that's going to take the Chiefs and this entire community to the next level because we've enjoyed the last 5+ decades of what has been. But a lot, and it's so crazy I'm talking about this in the way that we are, Trevor, because thematically it's me talking about severing ties and moving on. That's the same thing with this.
Yeah.
It's okay, guys, for a new and advanced, modernized version of what this has been at Arrowhead. Now they can build a new Arrowhead and it be more of an experience. We talk about the experience. It's going to be an even bigger one over there when this Chiefsville is built. So all I'm asking is just at least give it a chance, guys. That's all I'm going to say. And speaking of, that's all I'm going to say. That's literally all I'm going to say because now it's your turn, guys. It's time for speaking. Trevor, what are the people speaking on?
All right, man, we got plenty in here. We got our guy Nathan Bailey in the chat.
Nice.
It says RG3 said Mahomes should sit out next season. Thoughts?
RG3 has suffered a lot of injuries. It's why his career completely derailed. So I understand that he's got sort of a PTSD as to the concern and things of that nature with guys like Patrick Mahomes. But he's completely off base on this one. And the reason why I say that is because of the fact that what RG3's he's naturally comparing himself to Mahomes in this scenario. The problem though is that, and I hate to say it this way, RG3 wasn't the quarterback nor the athlete that Patrick Mahomes is. I don't think it's going to go the same way it did because also Robert Griffin III played for a much worse franchise that ran him into the ground. That's not how things have gone here with Patrick Mahomes. I think he's going to have a better understanding of how to overcome this than him. And like I said, the oversimplification might sound pretty loud in this, but we've seen, just for a reference point of view, Trevor, we've seen far lesser athletes like Phillip Rivers play in the AFC Championship with a fully torn ACL, and then 6-7 months later, play week 1 of the next season. We've seen Joe Burrow destroy his entire knee not just his ACL and LCL, his entire knee.
Old Aaron Rodgers represented his entire Achilles. Was back
and played the next season. Yeah, and played the next
Almost
season.
came back before the other season ended.
You know what I'm saying? Like, the technological advances that we have just over the last 5 to 7 years is much greater than it was back then. So what I'm saying is I understand the concern and the cause, what RG3 is trying to say. There is a 0% chance that a 6 to 9 month injury is going to keep Patrick Mahomes out for 18 months. A 0% chance. Patrick Mahomes will not allow that. He's going to do whatever he can to be playing football next season. And I'm telling you guys right now, if I'm a betting man, if I had a stack of cash right here, Trevor, and said, okay, all this money's either going to go to me thinking that Patrick's going to miss all of next season or he's back week 1 of next season, you better believe door number 2 is getting a wad of cash thrown at it, because I really do believe Patrick Mahomes is going to do everything in his power to be at full strength and ready to go week 1. That sounds crazy right now. I don't think it's so crazy because I know the psycho that he is, the competitive psycho that Patrick Mahomes is. He's not going to relent until his knee is back in full motion. Bobby Strute's going to be coaching the shit out of his body, getting ready for everything that comes with playing in the NFL. And to your point earlier, just as a side note, you talk about it could change things with Patrick Mahomes. Yes, and that's a great thing because Patrick Mahomes has to learn to protect himself from himself. And we've seen him play that crazy-ass style of football. Man, he's going to get older. Yeah. And eventually Patrick Mahomes is going to be an old quarterback. So if he wants to sustain greatness, he's going to have to rely on that arm a little bit more. Stay within the pocket, trust his offensive line, and deliver that ball with the 3 to 5 step drops. That's what needs to start happening. And this injury, as shitty as it is, could be a blessing in disguise for the next 6, 7, 8 years.
Agreed. Our guy Stephen Williams, shout out Stephen Williams.
Yeah, all chiefed up, baby.
He had asked this question earlier when we were talking about changes being made, possibly with the coaching staff and drastic moves in the roster. He asks, what do you think the chances that they make any changes anyway?
Well, if it's coming down to the coaching staff, I do think there's going to be some actual changes. I think, for one, Matt Nagy's going to get a head coaching job, so they're naturally going to be looking for an offensive coordinator. There is a list of guys that I would love to see the Chiefs go and get for offensive coordinator. In fact, I will bring that list up now. I wrote it actually out let's see.
Doug Peterson's in the chat.
Dougie P. Let me see. I swear I had the list. I was going to bring it up tonight because there are a list of guys out there that I think could, for one, oh God, what is that damn list? I'll find it later on, guys. But yes, I do think offensive coordinator is going to be one, just based on the fact that I think that you're going to see Matt Nagy move on, probably gets that Titans gig. I do think that the Todd Pinkston running backs coach thing is probably going to come to an end as well.
I mean, think about how hot of a opening that would be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's going to be guys vying for that position all over the place. To not only just to be able to call plays for Patrick Mahomes, but to be able to work alongside Andy Reid and pick his brain and learn from him.
Yeah.
Just like Andy Reid, learned from his ups, you know what I mean? So, like, I think that's something that's going to be maybe the hottest opening as far as an assistant coach position is all offseason.
Especially if it goes down the way I'm hoping it is, where that offensive coordinator gets to, because what I want to see Andy Reid, I want to see Andy Reid become more of a CEO/overseer type head coach, where he's not in the the play calling. He's more of the let me just kind of hold down
focus
the fort.
on the situational stuff and
being more of a director,
management.
a rudder, kind of that guy that kind of steers the ship. He's not the one that's doing the actual rowing. You know what I mean? He's not the one that's
part of me just thinks that Andy Reid is going to be that guy, and then if he can't do that anymore, he's just going to hang it up.
And maybe you're right.
You know what I mean?
Maybe
like it's hard because this is who Andy Reid's always been. He's always had,
which is ironic,
at least one hand in the offensive play calling.
Which is ironic, too, because when Andy Reid, before he became a head coach, never called plays. Isn't that interesting? It's almost like once he got that, he never looked back. You know what I mean? It's just kind of an interesting aspect.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see, man. Michael Maldonado, what do you guys think of the idea of Sean McVay being the next Chiefs head coach after Andy Reid in a dream scenario, of course? You're speaking in that's something I've been trying to manifest for a long time, bro.
Well, yeah, there's times I also think about, man, I wonder if Salma Hayek will be my next girlfriend. Obviously that would be amazing, but guys, the chances of the Chiefs being able to get Sean McVay out of LA with this amazing success he's having there, I can't tell the future. Maybe Sean McVay doesn't even coach after a couple of years from now and he gets into TV. Who knows? But yes, if you gave me a list of names that I could put down for the successor of Andy Reid, Sean McVay is on the top of the list next to Kyle Shanahan and Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah.
Any of those guys would do. Getting them here is going to be a very tough ask. Not that it wouldn't be an attractive thing for them, but the pride of knowing what they've built in their own cities and how they're so far away from ever being canned by those teams, the incentive isn't really there for them to leave. You know what I mean? Like they're grounded. They've staked their flag. Like the pride in them is going to say, no, this is my team. I'm going to stay here because this is what we've been building. I have my staff here. I have my family lives here. Like my kids are in school out here. They probably love their communities. They're well ingrained. There's just a lot of like, it isn't that simple is what I'm saying. Like you can't just go and get Sean McVay. You know what I mean? But yes, if there was any scenario where let's say Andy Reid hangs it up after 2028 or 2029, which is when he would probably retire, not anytime soon. Yeah, go get Sean McVay. That'd be great. And Salma Hayek, call me.
Yeah. Yep. Let's see. Our guy Fiero in the chat. Do you guys want the Chiefs to lose out for a better draft pick? Did we talk about this yet? Oh man. Well,
I hope that answered. We're not dodging your question. In fact, we fully embraced it. It's just an earlier part of the show. And yes, I 100% want to see the Chiefs lose every single game for the rest of the season. Trevor isn't, I don't want to speak for you, isn't as jazzed about that.
I'm
scenario.
okay if we lose it honestly. Like I'm serious. Like
don't lose dishonestly.
At least make it like at least disguise it a little bit, bro. Cock tease me a little bit. Jesus Christ, you know what I'm saying? Like,
it's
bro,
gotta flick it a little
dude.
bit.
Yeah, I mean, give me a good gust. Something, bro. Like, come on, man. I don't want to just outright just go out there and just bend over the barrel. I'm not about
Just
that
take
shit.
me.
Yeah, dude, I'm not about that. I'm not accepting the lashings. Fuck that shit. But lose, yes. No, I was kidding. No, man. Like, yeah, it's just tough. Christmas Day, if we go get shellacked by the Broncos, fuck. All right. Cell 32 alt. Speak it. Y'all watching the Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua?
Will not.
Yeah, no.
Will not.
I'll watch the highlights though. I'm not. Yeah, I mean everyone's a bunch of ignoramuses have been betting on Jake Paul's intros or entrance song. Like, bro, why are you guys betting?
If Anthony Joshua doesn't knock Jake Paul out within the first 3 rounds of this fight, it's rigged.
Yeah,
straight up.
For sure.
That's all I'm going to say.
Get his ass kicked.
That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, he should definitely get his ass kicked. Cell 32 alt follows that up with Speak It. Anderson Silva versus Tyrone Wooley is on your this card too.
Wait, what?
You didn't see that? Yeah, Anderson Silva's fighting Tyrone Woodley, bro. Yeah.
Anderson is in his 50s.
Yeah, and Anderson's gonna win, by the way. He's
What the? Did you see that broke?
It's
the hell
is it really about being broke though? Because the money's just real, bro. Like I think it's less about him being broke, just like just give me that money straight up. Just,
yeah, he's gonna kill Tyron Woodley.
I mean,
if he's still
elite athletes in their time, but
Woodley's become a can of tomato paste.
We haven't seen. I mean, Anderson Silva's crawling out of a cave somewhere,
Fair.
so we haven't seen that guy in a while. But I mean,
that's why this is all like a joke, dude. Like it's all like sideshow shit.
I accept it for what it is. It's fun.
Yeah.
If people want to love WWE, love WWE. If people want to love this gimmicky stuff, I get it. It is fun. Like I'm not gonna lie, it is fun. I mean, shit. We used to watch Celebrity Deathmatch, and that shit was completely fake. You know what I mean? This is like real life, almost like real life Celebrity Deathmatch bullshit. It's just kind of I'm just having fun with it. I think it's silly, but people take it seriously and like betting real money on this shit is hilarious, by the way.
Yeah.
That's the stuff I'm like, bro, no.
And if it's rigged, like isn't it like illegal anyway to like have gambling odds on a rigged fight?
I mean,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's weird, but I'll watch probably, but yeah, we'll see. Cell 32 alt follows that up with Speak It. They need to go get Kenyon Sadiq, the tight end out of Oregon.
I like that kid. That's so funny you say that because that was the tight end I was gauging at. The problem though is he's going to go early in the draft.
Yeah, tight ends in the last 10 years or last 5-6 years have been going a lot earlier than they used to, man.
Yeah,
so tight ends are flying off the shelves, especially with the success of these young tight ends.
Yeah,
you know, so many tight ends have been walking in this league and been awesome.
Right.
So this is it's an evolution of the game.
Well, and we also have to kind of evaluate the tight end position differently now that Travis Kelce's probably on his way out. I know there's like that natural desire to go and get like a replica, but you have to understand, guys, that the Chiefs have been able to do something that other franchises just simply have not been able to do, and that is to go and get 2 of the greatest tight ends who have ever lived. Like that is such a special thing. So I am betting on them being able to find an adequate replacement, but it might be kind of like by a committee. Yeah. I don't think you're ever going to go and find a guy that's going to be anything close to what Travis Kelce is or was.
Yeah, no.
You're going to have your Noah Gray, Jared Wiley, and like a young dude. You know what I mean? And kind of just have a committee of tight ends that can play. But that's going to also have to open up, like we talk about schemes, Trevor. The Chiefs are going to have to be willing to start playing more 13 personnel and get more of those big bodies on that field and running the ball and setting up play action, things like that. But that's just over here making sense.
You're right. Anderson, Cell 32 Alt just chimed in the chat also and said Anderson Silva just knocked him out. So
Jesus, that was fast.
yeah,
Glad we got those takes in.
Spider Silva just did his job.
We got those takes in quick.
Yeah, Nathan Bailey says Woodley looked like he was stoned or drunk in that fight. Probably both.
Took another fall like he did with Jake.
Yeah, probably both in that. Yeah, so he was he's stone cold out now. So Cell 32 Alt asks, or speak it, can I tell you how pissed I'd be if Jalen Royals balls out? This coaching staff sticking to what they trust is ridiculous.
Well, okay, first of all,
do you not want to see him ball
not to be
out,
difficult here. I'm not trying to be obtuse, but like, what would your definition of balling out be? And two, no offense to Jalen Royals, because I hope he turns into something special.
Yeah, you kind of want to see him play well.
Yeah, but that's kind of the point. But here's the other thing. The context of the season's changed. Right. Like, if he was to do this in games that mattered, then I'd be like, oh, fuck, like, they've really messed up.
Yeah, he hasn't been able to get on the field
there's no pressure right now. You know what I mean? Like, you're going into games that do not matter, and if you go and put up numbers against the Titans, it's like, well, cool. Like, I'd be happy, but it's like,
I mean, you'd rather him ball out than not. But at the same time,
there's
it's
context
like,
to it.
how, how real is this?
Right.
Like, how much? Yeah, I mean, but I do agree. Like, I do think there are guys that are playing for a spot on this team, and they're adding to the resume for the next year. Because I think guys like Hollywood Brown might not be around. There's gonna be guys. There's gonna be moves.
Yeah.
Right. So I think there is gonna be a big. And I've said on this show several times, I had high hopes even in this season for Jalen Royals, and I think he's a good player. I think he's gonna fit into this offense pretty well. So we'll see. I mean, I hope he plays well. I want to see what he can do, but the context is painfully mattering here. Cell 32 Alt, speak it. We're already eliminated from the playoffs in the latest pick. We can get it. Okay, let me try this again. We're already eliminated from the playoffs. The latest pick we can get is 18, I think.
The latest pick you can get is 18. I don't know if that's true, because other teams could lose out as well.
Yeah.
Or win out. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if that's true or not. I just know that the Chiefs have a chance of getting a potential top 10 pick, and I like that a lot better. So that's what I'll say.
At least we can get in the top 15. I'll take that. If we can get in the top 15, I'm cool with that.
Yep.
Just beat the Broncos on Christmas, for Christ's sake. It's not gonna happen, but that'd be cool. Don't ruin my Christmas. Let's see. Micah Hayes. Friday nights now. No more Saturday.
Oh, so yeah. I don't know if you missed the announcement a few weeks ago, but yeah, Trevor and I, we decided to go back to our original time slot because life changes. Trevor obviously has a 12-year-old daughter, and my niece Scarlett, who is very active in sports, and Saturdays are usually when her games are played. So I thought it was a good idea. I presented it to Trevor because obviously out of respect to his schedule, I was like, dude, if it makes more sense to you to move Fridays, let's do it. It doesn't bother me at all. In fact, I kind of miss doing Friday nights. It's just kind of a different, vibe, because you're not, getting the crusties out of your eyes on Saturday mornings. You're, still living off that high of having your day on a Friday, and you get to go into the weekend and stuff. So yeah, that we're moving back to Fridays at 6:30 p.m., man. So hopefully you'll want to hang out with us on Friday nights.
Absolutely. Cell 32 Alt, speak it. Even if they move to Kansas, it will be by the time Pat is like 38, about to retire. I think we kind of touched on this already, but yeah, it's a fair point. But it is what it is. There's new beginnings for someone else to take the torch there. Cell 32. Also, last one on the bright side, I'm really excited about the Royals this season. Young core who can grow together even more. Maybe get Salvi another ring before he's done. Yeah, definitely, man. I think there's a lot of buzz behind this young Royals team, and I think the leadership of this franchise has definitely turned a tide. They actually care. That's been a breath of fresh air since the last run. The 2013, 2014 years. This has actually been, I'm not even a big baseball guy, but you can kind of feel it in the air in the city. Like there's a lot of there's just more energy around this team. Like, and then, like I said, the leadership, the new owner, all this, like this, there's just care involved here now. They want to compete. They want to make moves. They're getting aggressive, in the free agent, time and all that, trading and all this stuff. Like that's something we're not trading away all of our assets. We're trading for assets. That's a fun thing for this team. So I think it's, like you said, the young core is definitely something to be excited about in the city, and especially another, them possibly becoming having a new location as well. Fresh beginnings there in the next several years to come. Who knows? I know they're basically set to be, Johnson County area is most likely what it's looking like for the Royals, but Yeah, man, a lot of excitement for the Royals moving forward. I'm right there with you, bro.
Yeah, and real quick, the Michael Garcia extension was huge. Looking at the aggressiveness this offseason, it is showing that the Royals are serious about trying to turn this thing into a winner again, and I do think they're on the right track, man, for what it's worth. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, and dude, also think about it, man. Like, they've been seeing the success for the Chiefs that the Chiefs have had. They want to taste that too.
Absolutely.
You know,
Especially now that they're separating.
This is very much a baseball town too, man. We love our Royals out here. Talk about diehard. I mean, how many Royals games do we go to on the cheap, and there's still a good turnout. It's still fun. It's still, going to the Case fun. They build a new stadium, wherever they decide to go. The fans are going to show up, man. Especially if you got a young, exciting. This town loves their baseball, bro.
Yep.
That's one thing that's unique about this, these smaller, Midwest towns and cities. Like it's not like the big, gigantic cities where you have 12 teams and, you don't have the same colors all around the city. Their cities don't light up with the colors of the teams because they don't know which one to choose. We have our teams here. When it's baseball season, the city's lit up blue. When it's Chiefs time, the city's yellow and gold or gold and red. You know what I mean? So it's yeah, man. We love our teams out here, and it's just it'd be good to have both teams really, really doing their thing simultaneously. So, for sure. Mac 10, who do the Chiefs look to get as offensive coordinator for next season? I just don't see a scenario where they bring back Nagy.
No, well, here, let me make sure that everybody understands this full and good well. If Matt Nagy doesn't get a head coaching job, there's a very significantly good chance he's back next season, and that is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
I would rather them go get a fresh set of eyes on this offense. But the qualifications of being the offensive coordinator in Kansas City is matched by Matt Nagy. Let me make that abundantly clear. This dude, in my opinion, is an actual head coach. I think he should be a head coach in this league, which is why I do believe he will be a head coach again in this league. But he, without question, is and again, I call it OC as an offensive conduit, not offensive coordinator. We know that this offense is ran through Andy Reid. Matt Nagy is paid to be a conduit between Reid and Mahomes, just like Eric Bieniemy was, just like Doug Peterson was with Alex Smith, Matt Nagy before that or during that. So I know that it's easy to hate Matt Nagy because you guys have to have a scapegoat. Everyone's got to be mad at somebody in particular. It's not Matt Nagy that's to blame in all this, and I will defend him. And I defended Eric Bieniemy back in the time when everybody. It's so funny, Trevor, real quick. It's so funny the revisionist history we have. Everybody misses Eric Bieniemy all of a sudden. You and I were doing this show, and we had so many people saying EB's got to go. He's the reason they lost the 2021 AFC Championship.
Causing a ruckus in the locker room. He was a cancer.
Yeah. It's funny how all of a sudden it's, we miss his red ass. We miss the harshness, and he was better.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, this sounds like the way they treated Muhammad Ali in a weird way. Remember they were demonizing him back in the day. Now everyone's like, he was the greatest.
Revisionist
history. Love him. You know what I mean? It's so funny.
Revisionist history. Yeah. And this answer falls right in line with Bumpy BB's question. Just to answer him simultaneously, do you expect the Chiefs to actually fire Nagy? Feels like Andy is too loyal to his guys. Nagy was supposed to be the head coach and waiting to.
Well, that was never really confirmed. I think that was an assumption by a lot of fans.
Theoretically,
yeah.
Yes. I mean, I think theoretically that was probably maybe part of the plan,
sure.
But we can do better, in my opinion. And then last question, as of now, our guy Nathan Bailey, thoughts on the Greg Biffle news?
Well, Nate and I are personal friends, and we were talking about this a little bit. Nate's a big NASCAR guy, and whenever there's anything related to NASCAR that catches my eye, Nate's the first person I go to. And I texted Nate, I believe it was yesterday or the day before, and this was devastating, man, because losing, a guy like that, a big-time name in the sport, and a great person from everything Nate's told me and I've seen on the internet, losing him alone is terrible. But him losing his family with him, it's the most heartbreaking type of scenario, man. Like, the idea, I don't want to get too deep into the weeds here, man, but yeah, the idea of children losing their lives, man, it hits me really hard because, Trev has, two children that are, my niece and nephew that I love like my own kids. And you always go to that when you think of that, as you think about the kids in your life and what that would do to you. And it's the darkest of things that you can imagine, man, happening in this world. And it just shows you how, precious this shit is, man. And I really hope that the family surrounding the Biffle family that they're surviving them are doing as good as they possibly can, because I can't imagine just how gut-wrenching this is, especially, right around Christmas time too. Trevor and I know what that's like to suffer tragedy right around holiday season, and it's never the same after that. So my heart is genuinely with the Biffle family that is surviving this tragedy, and I don't know what else really to say other than just, express my sentiments and my sadness for this whole situation, man.
Yeah, absolutely. It's life's not fair, man. That's these things, none of this was a part of anybody's will. This is nothing. There's no master plan here. Sometimes shit is just terrible.
Yeah.
And this is one of those things that just happens. And he just so happened to be someone of note. People die all the time. And this is something that, and the plane too, the tragedy of a plane crash, it's just an element to the story that just makes it that much more tragic and honestly probably unbearable for the family. And just such a tragic way to go. So yeah, I mean, it's like you said, on the holidays too, a time of joy, a time of, to reflect on the year you just lived, and be with people you love. And now he's not able to be there, and they're not able to have him there. And well, like you said, we know what that's like. Anybody who's lost anybody around the holiday time knows how that can be an absolute thief of your joy. The goal is to not let it. The goal is to, celebrate the life. But unfortunately, and we're in the thick of this moment for his family, and hopefully they can, just find ways to cope and be with the ones that are still around, that they can hug and love on each other and, get through this hard time. But yeah, man, it's absolutely tragic. And you hate to see that stuff.
Terrible, man.
Yeah. That's it for the people, bro.
I appreciate you guys so much, man. It's been a long 2 weeks without talking with you guys. So this is a good little therapy sesh for myself, and I'm sure for Trevor as well. So I appreciate all the questions, all the chiming in. And I tell you at the top, I tell you at the bottom of every single show, if you guys would be so kind, go to YouTube, hit us up at the Spoken Podcast, hit subscribe, like, notify, share. All that stuff really helps us big time, especially with that old algorithm. But the thing we want you to do the most is we want you to get into the comment. We want you to hit the comment button as much as possible, because this is a community-driven show where we don't talk at you, we talk with you. And we want to have conversations, we want to have good dialogue, and we do that every single week with precise success, and we want to keep that going. And we want you to be a part of it, man. So definitely join us on YouTube, because like I said, that's where we're trying to grow this platform as much as humanly possible, and we cannot do that without you. So we would very much need you, and to tell your friends about us. We very much appreciate it. Trevor, we have one more order of business to get to. What is it called?
Hold this ale.
Each and every episode, we finish off every single episode with a series of L's in the world of sports. Whether those L's are friendly L's or not so friendly L's in the world of sports, we promise you, who's ever holding the L's in the world of sports deserve those L's in the motherfucking world of sports. Trevor Twidwell, who's holding the L for you this week?
Before I get to my L, I just wanted to give 𝚂𝙿𝙸𝚂𝙾 his chance here to kind of follow up his comment about the draft picks. He said, the pick 18 comment was because 14 teams make the playoffs and they should all be behind us. So he's just doing the math.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, that which logically makes sense, but I mean, sometimes the draft order can be a little screwy, but mathematically you would be correct. Most teams that make the playoffs should be, below us in the draft order, since we're missing the playoffs entirely, of course.
But the Chiefs the Chiefs could have a worse or better record than somebody that makes the playoffs too, though. That's the
right.
thing,
And then the point margin thing kind of comes into effect as well. Or So I mean, there's things, but I mean, if we lose out, we will probably have a really good opportunity to be in the top 10, 12 picks, most likely. So
absolutely.
That'll be nice, but also depressing in a way. So, yeah, I just wanted to give him his chance to redeem or to follow that up there. But my L is going to go to none other than the Miami Dolphins.
No fucking way.
And Tua Tagovailoa.
No shit.
All right,
let's do it.
I'll just say my piece real quick, and I'll let you elaborate a little bit more. As we all know, that Tua just signed a 4-year, $212.4 million extension last season. Homie just got benched for years. They want to see what they got in the kid. So they're just benching the guy they just made their franchise quarterback the year prior. And he's probably not going to play for this team next year, which is fucking insane. And just goes to show you how poorly ran the Miami Dolphins are. I mean, my God, what an absolute dumpster fire. What this team was supposed to be when they got Tyreek Hill, this was supposed to be some kind of juggernaut. Granted, at times, they looked like it. Tua's had some years that are like, damn, statistically at the end of the year, like, fuck. That was a great year.
He led the league in yards 2 years ago.
Yeah. But I mean, the guy is one of the most untrustworthy. He's probably the worst cold weather quarterback in the league. That goes back to his college days. Anytime he's played in like sub 45-degree weather, he's absolute ass. We just saw that why he got benched this last week against Steelers. He can't handle it.
Right.
This guy is not. He's not obviously not durable. He's proven that. And he's situationally, he's a terrible decision maker. He's been surrounded by nothing but playmakers. Maybe one of the most loaded playmaker rooms in the NFL. It's up there, especially when Tyreek was healthy. You know, you got several first-round picks. You got an absolute phenom at running back. That was the basis of my. I mean, I still believe in Coach McDaniel. I think he's a good coach. Very unique guy. Very just odd cat, but fun. But I think he's a brilliant mind, and I think he's going to keep his job at the end of the day here. I mean, I think it is the best decision to cut ties with the quarterback because he's the one, honestly, is the key cog here to why they've been such a roller coaster of a team because they've been too talented of a team, to be as bad as they've been, in my opinion, especially this year with the Bills kind of being up and down as well. They haven't been able to take advantage of that really, even though they did beat the Bills once. But yeah, Tua's I don't know which is worse, like his play or the fact that they gave him that contract last year and now they're already ready to just eat the shit, the entire hunk of shit, and they say, you know what, dude, we're benching you, bro. Like, you're done. He's probably done as a Dolphin, and I don't know where he's going to end up. I don't know who's going to take on this contract, but it's definitely look like he's probably going to be traded at some point this offseason, which is wild, bro. So I'll let you go and put the nail in the coffin.
I'm so glad that we did the same L, but we also have different viewpoints on this because I actually think that they can't get out of Tua's contract. If you look at if you look, I know Nick Wright and everybody else has been saying, oh yeah, they're moving off him.
It feels that way, bro.
But here's the problem.
Yeah.
Do you know what his dead cap is next year?
Dude, the Raiders will make that. The Raiders will do it.
Real quick, you just guess. Just guess.
No, I don't.
$99 million. They would have to eat $99 million to let him go.
Might be worth it, bro.
No one's trading for Tua.
Dude.
No one.
Dude, we've seen crazier things.
Dude, you just said it, though. If he was good in cold weather, there's a chance. But if you look at, the Cardinals aren't going to get him because they're getting off Kyler Murray. So why the fuck would you go get Tua?
The Raiders definitely could.
The Raiders could, but why would they do that if they can get a better version of him and Kyler Murray?
We don't know for sure if Kyler's gone, though. I know. But he has been dealing with injuries this year, and then he basically got light benched this season. I get that. But it's not for sure that Kyler's gone. And I do think I think the Vikings are going to be in on Kyler for sure. I think
Joe Burrow.
There's I think
Burrow.
Oh man.
Vikings
That would be huge for the end. That would shake the entire
NFL.
early
take.
No, I love that. Yeah, man, I don't know, bro. This feels
$99 million.
Dude, this feels like this is. I don't think he's obviously not the coach's guy. That wasn't his choice. You know what I mean? He was there before, and I feel like he's done with him. And I honestly, bro, I feel like he lost. I feel like a million times. It seems like Tua has entirely lost the locker room. I think he's lost all the respect, and I think that's the biggest thing here. I think it's less about this is just a strategic thing, like he's just not playing good, which is true. Both are true. But I don't think anyone in that locker room respects him because of the things he said in a lot of the post-game pressers. He's consistently throwing his teammates under the bus, throwing his coaches under the bus. I think they're going to be willing this offseason to eat that money.
Imagine that. That'd be
because he's lost, dude. He's not a good leader.
Yeah.
He's a terrible speaker, doesn't know how to say things correctly, and he continues to throw people under the bus and not take accountability at all.
Yeah.
I think he's just kind of lost it, bro, and I think that locker room completely disrespects him, and I don't think you can play with a guy like that.
John Harrison chimes in. He goes, if they cut to after June 1st, it's 67.5 instead of 99.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and that's the other thing.
That's much better. But
okay, but if you cut him after June 1st, you're basically getting into training camp time.
Yeah.
So cutting him at that point would make
who's going to trade for him at that point? Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying, dude.
I mean, if they cut him, anybody can pick him up, but still,
they are fucked, straight up, dude.
Dude, what a dumpster fire of a situation. Literally just last year, they paid this man.
Yeah.
That honestly, but I'm more upset with the franchise, the incompetence of that front office to make that decision.
Desperate move.
Because they did not have to do that.
I know.
They could have franchise tagged him. They could have maybe. Oh my goodness,
it's a brutal one.
But it was around that time that everyone was getting paid. Trevor Lawrence was getting paid. All these guys were getting paid. So
the market is so out of whack.
We gotta follow suit,
dude. When I saw Trevor Lawrence and him get these contracts, Brock Purdy, I just laughed.
Well, at least Trevor Lawrence has been good this year. He's having one of his best seasons.
He's completing less than 60% of his passes.
He's been running a lot more though. His rushing yards has been. Yeah. He's played really well these last few weeks. I mean, I don't know, but yeah, Trevor Lawrence is better than two of them in my personal opinion. But what a shit show,
and
man.
for that, I mean, I think it's a great thing that we doubled up on this one. So for that, the Dolphins, Tua Tagovailoa, and that big-ass dead cap, y'all do me a solid and Trevor a solid, and hold this hell. We appreciate it.
Rough, bro.
Woo! God dog. Yeah, well, this it's good to be back. We're glad to, like I said, but we had to take the venture out to Arrowhead. Because for all we know, that might be the last time we're there. I'm just saying. But I'm just kidding. We'll be back.
I'm glad we were able to do that, bro. Yeah. Truly, that's gonna be a forever memory right there. No
I'm glad we got it. Yeah, that was definitely a staple in my memory forever, man. So if you guys get a chance, man, to maybe try to get a tour at Arrowhead, try to get it done, man. Because
I actually drank some alcohol too. Like,
that was weird.
I had 3 drinks, bro.
That was weird. I was a little I was like, shit, Trev, you gonna be all right?
Do often, yeah.
Trevor had a hangover for a week after that.
I should have smoked crystal meth too while I was at it. I should have done something on top of it, some MDMA, something, bro. Like, man.
I know a guy. Just saying. No, I was kidding. Don't do that shit. Please don't. But nevertheless, dude, this show was absolutely fun. Good to be back, guys. I know that we had to have a lot of uncomfortable conversations, but damn it, it's where the Chiefs are and where we are at, and we are here to look for solutions. I'm not saying that everything that Trevor and I articulated on this show is going to be exactly how the Chiefs do it or how they should do it. But it's an opinion-based conversation, man. And like I said, we're looking for avenues and opportunities for this team to get back to where they can be and where they have been. Make no mistake about it. I want to reemphasize this one more thing. This team is not far off.
Yeah.
They do have the nucleus in place. But this team has to evolve. This team has to evolve in its mentality. It has to evolve in its roster building. It has to evolve in its schematics. They can do that. It's a willingness. They have to be willing to change. This whole entire era, ironically, began with the team changing. For 30 plus years, this team went with the retread method at quarterback, and it didn't get them dick. And we all sat here as Chiefs fans pissed off because of heartbreaking loss after heartbreaking loss after heartbreaking loss in the postseason. It wasn't until this team said, you know what? It's time to get aggressive at quarterback. And they traded up 17 spots, got a quarterback at number 10 overall, thank you, Buffalo Bills, by the name of Patrick Mahomes. And since then, this team has been to 5 Super Bowls. That is not a coincidence. But if this team wants to get back to a single Super Bowl over these next several years, they have to do that type of aggressive maneuver again. I'm not saying they got to go up and trade 17 spots for somebody. I'm saying with that mentality, they have to see the writing is on the wall. That team knew Alex Smith, what that was what that was, and they were never going to win a Super Bowl like that. They had to make aggressive maneuvers, had to take substantial measures to ensure that their future had success actually in it. And that's what took place, and we're all forever grateful for that. I will be forever grateful if the Chiefs decide to do something similar to that effect this offseason, and I think that's what they're going to do. That's why I continue to hold out hope that this team's going to be right back to where they've been in 2026. They're not far off. It's going to be a long offseason. It's going to be a grueling offseason, but we're here to talk about it, and I hope you guys want to tag along in the process. So with that, for Trevor Twidwell, thank you for all the contributions today, man. For the great Clay Windler, puts everything at the back end of things at Red Tribe Cinema. Go check out his stuff on YouTube. Go support our guy. I'm Lance Twidwell. Episode 339 of the Spoken Podcast is done, finished, and finito. And until we are back here in 1 week's time to discuss even more Chiefs-related topics, we out of this bitch.